April Fool's Day. Happy April Fool's, everybody. Got some jokers on today, so we'll see how this goes.
I actually got my wife did a pretty good joke on me today.
Oh, yeah?
She tell you she was pregnant?
That would have been better.
That's like
Dumb
the,
tits.
that's like the classic. What had happened was,
See, what had happened was.
I have a checking in the savings.
Hello, hello.
Hey, Zach. How are you, buddy? I know that wasn't for us, but
We're still good. All right.
So good.
still good. All right. Keep it kicking. So,
Yes. So
get us into your story.
so my wife okay. So this morning I got a text message from a guy saying that he was looking to buy, or no, he wanted me to send him my VIN to my car so he could check it on Carfax.
Are you selling your car or just?
No.
Oh, that's
So with a link to Craigslist. So I'm like, what the hell? So I click on the link, and it takes me to somebody selling a 2010 Range Rover in Clear Lake area, and it's over the map's over Seabrook, and it pretty much describes my car, but the pictures were not my car, but like a similar color, but like different. And it said the contact information was Zach, and then it had my phone number, and I was like, this is not a coincidence. Somebody's messing with me. I was like, for sure somebody's and I totally forgot it's April Fool's because I just don't notice that kind of shit. And
joke's on you.
so I knew somebody was messing with me, but I had no idea. I'm like, who? Like, what did I do to somebody? Like, I'm trying to going through my Rolodex of like evil crap I've done in my life.
The evil decks.
Yeah. It's kind of the same thing. If you want to get back to somebody, you put their number or email through the I'm looking to buy a car systems.
Oh God.
Those guys are relentless.
That's a good way to.
And mortgages too. If you put them, if you want to get revenge on somebody, just put their number as if they're looking for a mortgage. So
Cold-blooded.
oh
That's
yeah, they
cold-blooded.
won't stop forever. But so I knew somebody was messing with me, and so I texted my wife. I was like, the weirdest things happening. Somebody's like put my car up, but not my car, and put my contact information up for sale on Craigslist. She's like, that's so weird. And I'm like, yeah, it's weird.
I wonder who that could have been.
Right. She's like, that's creepy. And I go, yeah. And then she couldn't hold out. She ended up telling me that it was her. But I should have known. And the reason why I should have known is because she pranks me every year. I just put it out of my mind that she's a prankster.
Yeah.
And so last year, I was at the restaurant, and she actually drove up with my spare set of keys and parked my car around the block and parked her car where my car was. So when I come out, I'm like looking for my car. I'm like,
That's a solid prank, dude.
she's like,
That's
I'm like,
clever.
somebody
That's some
stole
good
my
shit,
car,
dude.
and there's my wife's car is just like my wife's car's right here in my spot. She came.
Was she like, no, we drove here in my
She
car.
called me and she's like, "What are you doing?" Like as if she wasn't. And I'm like, "Oh man, she got me."
Dude,
I was about to call the cops
That's
for.
a good effort, man.
Yeah, and then last year or the year before that.
You just get wrecked on every April.
Yeah, the year
Fool's.
before that she
It's
changed.
crazy.
So
She-
are you just gullible and she's just saying like this guy's an easy
Yeah, it
target?
sounds
What's
like
going on here?
It sounds like
I
she's
think
pretty,
it's just I keep forgetting.
It sounds like she's pretty clever
She's
from
trying
the
to
from the
sure? Are you
examples.
sure your anniversary's not April 1st, man? Like that sounds.
This could be a long play of revenge.
Yeah.
Like what's going on here? And well, Austin Weber, you're next.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
One thing is my dog's birthday is today. She turns 18.
No joke.
No joke. I've told people that, and people
She
are
can
like,
vote now.
people
Oh,
are like,
shit.
you are joking, and I'm
She
like,
might do a better
no,
job.
she is
She might.
18.
Man. All right. Well, before we get into too much, I guess, like I said, Happy April Fools. Intros for today. Your host Oliver. We have the Rivas brothers here today. Represent sharing a mic, because as you heard previously, we have our wonderful producer Zach laying down some words too. And as always, the man with the mane. What's going on, buddy?
Hey, hey guys, how are you? We got back from a great weekend, right? We had Third Coast qualifiers.
We did.
We did. It
We
was a great
absolutely
weekend.
did. They were good, man. We got a lot to talk about
Yeah.
this episode. This is gonna be good.
Man.
What's
Go
up?
No, God, it's all good.
No, you're good. I was just gonna give a
Ollie,
shout out to
Ollie,
our
Ollie,
sponsors,
awesome,
man.
No,
Who's
I was just saying, like, man, it was a great event. You had, great production, great music, great matches,
Uh-huh.
and
Uh-huh.
it was an all jiu-jitsu experience, right? It's all about the fighters and the matches, right? We had some referees who short temper, throwing out yellow cards. It is what it is. Right?
No, I mean, I think all the refs were good. That one, the first one though, he.
He's extremely handsome.
We'll have to discuss that.
Very
later.
handsome.
Yeah. But speaking of Third Coast Grappling, we'd like to give a shout out to our sponsors. Starting off with them, we will get into it a bit later, but they threw a hell of an event this Friday. It was the Third Coast Grappling Championship qualifiers. It was at Scout Bar. It was the qualifiers leading up to the main event that's going to be happening June 29th at, can we announce it?
Yes.
Warehouse Live. Man, it's yeah, DJ Khaled. Oh, shit. No, it's gonna be good, man. We got it's gonna be a hell of a venue. If half of the success of this one, accompanies the first one, it's gonna be amazing. It was great. Preps by Jay-Z, keeping us all keeping me and Alan fit right now.
Man,
How's it working, Alan?
He's
Man.
doing his part. I'll
It's-
say that.
Yeah, he is.
He's doing
he's
his
doing
part.
his part, right? I'm doing 1/4 of my part, but but so I am starting the gym this week, right?
Who's Jim?
I'm,
Is he
you know-
cute? Is he a blonde?
He's cute.
yeah, man, it could be you.
I could be blonde for that.
so-
2020's time's tough, man.
But no, in all seriousness, I am going to be taking this a little seriously, right? I am going to be hitting the track, starting to do, whether it's sprints,
And of course, the prep meals by Jay-Z.
the prep meals is just it's going to supplement me. It's going to get me over the top, right?
Man,
So-
did you see that menu for next week? Some General
And-
Tso's chicken coming my way.
So
Stuffed turkey burgers with feta and spinach.
I don't know if you
That
noticed,
sounds-
but
that
I
sounds pretty dope.
I don't know if you noticed, but
sounds real dope.
I just copy whatever you get.
Yeah.
So
I mean, no, like
it's good.
If
It's
I
a
was
good
if
thing.
I was close enough to someone who had that good a taste, I'd probably fucking rip that shit too.
Man,
I mean, I don't blame you. Keep
So
that shit up.
there's like 4 good things on the menu, and I
Everything's
just
good
basically
on
go
that
half
menu,
and
man.
half, right?
Yeah.
Can our producer Zach? Is it possible for you to zoom in on the 3 beers Professor Allen has in front of him currently? Is that part of the
Carb counting over here.
Is that part
Hey,
of the
Ricky.
prep process?
Coach Ricky, get me another one.
Finish that other one over
the
there
fuck
first.
out of here. Make it quick too.
Also, I Rule Designs and Photography. Hosanna Rule, she was actually our photographer for the Third Coast Grappling Championship qualifiers. If you haven't had a chance to look through that photo gallery on Facebook or Instagram, do yourself a favor, go check that out.
Great-
They are awesome.
great pictures.
Great pictures, high quality. High quality.
I already look at rooster weight on the pictures. That's how great.
No, he does. You see, most people say the camera adds 10 pounds, but her photography is so fucking bomb, it got Alan down to rooster weight.
And
So as long as we photograph the
Looking
match,
good, man.
it makes
Looking
your it makes your
Fair.
bench max go up 20 pounds.
Oh my God,
2019,
dude.
looking good.
Ricky, what does that do for your stamina? Plus 12? It depends what you roll. That's right.
There you go.
You got to roll 'em good.
Coach Ricky is clueless right now.
anybody want to take over for Professor Brandon?
JGP.C.
Yeah.
6-month guarantee.
Absolutely.
Always
Free
free
shipping.
shipping.
I think
That's
it's
right.
20-year guarantee.
20 years. Yeah. Oh, that's right. So since
They
Professor
are,
Brandon's not here, we're gonna have to wing this one. On that,
shit.
if your label starts coming off, call that fool.
Yeah, if you actually message the Fifth Stripe Podcast YouTube page about the Gi Pants, we will give you his personal cell phone number, and then you can can settle up with
Absolutely.
him himself.
Also, if you go to justgeepants.com and you put in promo code the Fifth Stripe Podcast, he will pay you $247 for every pair of pants you order. And remember, always free shipping, 6-month guarantee.
That promo code
on the money too. So if he gives you some funny money and within 6 months you figure it out, hit him up. He'll refund that.
I think the 10th person to comment will get a date with him.
Oh yeah, no, it's true. The 10th person's comment will
shit.
today.
Just 10
Man,
person.
Professor Brandon, we're diversifying your portfolio tonight, buddy. We're getting you good. Disclaimer: none of that's probably true. But hit up the site anyway. Top-notch quality gi pant replacements. Always free shipping, 6-month guarantee. Also, Saloon Door, as always, giving us a wonderful place
Saloon
to
Dizzle.
talk some shit and drink some beer. What's everybody drinking tonight?
I am drinking the No Honeydew Hazy IPA.
Excellent.
Probably their best hazy IPA to date. So if you're into it, come get you one. Get you two.
And
Get a
if-
crowler.
and if
Buy
you're-
your friend one.
If you're not into it, come see what else they have. What do you got? What do you
Coach
got over there,
Ricky?
Coach Ricky?
I have the vanilla cream ale.
The
I love vanilla. I do
Oh,
not
yeah?
understand.
We're
why
talking
I
about
love
beer,
vanilla
right?
So much, yeah. I love vanilla so much. It is
Like-
insane.
Is that like if
shit.
is that your pumpkin spice?
Yeah, I guess
Yeah?
so. Like I
That's
mean,
cool.
like yeah. If food can have vanilla, like if it makes sense, I'm not gonna put vanilla into like
Pickles.
pickles.
Whoa, hold
Pickle.
up now.
Vanilla
But-
pickle.
Have you tried it?
No.
Don't knock it.
Shut up. bitch.
But like
Knock it.
anything that vanilla makes sense going into.
Yeah. You know my
is
nickname
good.
in high school used to be Vanilla, right?
Ooh.
Anyway, we'll talk about that later, Coach Ricky.
If it
Is
makes
that,
sense
is
for
that a
vani-
different flavor?
If it makes
in,
sense for
England?
vanilla to go into.
Yeah, bitter vanilla. What about you, Professor Allen?
You
What,
know,
what,
I keep-
what's the third thing you're drinking?
I keep it tasty AF.
Tasty
Hey, if
as
you look at
what?
it, I don't drink them all. I leave a lot. I don't.
He likes to keep
Why
that
do you
ass
do
out.
that?
Because he likes to keep that ass
Yeah.
on display.
That's
It
a
is
little
what it is,
weird.
man. See, you start off with the little head.
Is that how you feel
work
that?
your way through the
That's
body
how
with
I
some
do
ass
my
on
thing.
display.
You know? That's how I do my thing.
Is that how you tell yourself
Can't
you
be
didn't?
ordinary.
Is that how you
You
say
be
you?
extraordinary,
Is that how you
okay?
tell yourself you didn't really drink?
No, that's portion control. That's he's like, how many beers do you have? Not 3. 'cause
Not
I didn't
three-
finish
not
it.
three.
That's like
That's
you
right.
eat 7 slices of pizza and you leave the fucking crust.
Yeah.
Right?
See,
Just but on the last one.
So
You just
carby.
say I just had 2 slices, but shit, you
Yeah.
fucking tore it up.
I had my 2 slices from the inside. Yeah, that's good.
Oliver, what are you drinking?
Man, honestly, I'm not even sure. I told someone to surprise me. Asked for a River Ace. Unfortunately, it was boom boom. It was gone. So Ricky, take a guess, man. Ricky is a brewer. Is that your
Yeah.
title?
Yeah, I'm a
Ricky is a
brewer.
brewer here at Saloon Door. So he's going to put his finger in my beer, stir it up a little bit, sniff it, and tell me what I'm drinking.
No, it's a panhandler. I didn't even have to do that.
What is it?
The panhandler.
It's a pale. It's a pale ale. The pale ale. So a pale ale is one step down from an IPA. If you didn't know that,
Yeah, no,
did you know that?
yes.
Are you sure? Or are you just saying that now that you do know?
Look, it's not up to me to prove that I didn't know. It's up to you to prove that I did know. So,
Oh, that's true. That is
thanks. Thanks.
Okay, moving along.
Speaking of a quick IPA thing,
Uh-huh.
when I first started, I guess, getting into craft beer, my
Back
buddy
in
told me-
'95.
Oh man, back in '76, man. Shit, we were crafting like moonshine beer and shit. It was amazing.
No, remember in London they have all sorts of crazy beers.
Yeah, well, in London, the beer's so warm, we just have one person drink it and then just piss in a glass, and then like it's just it works its way down. I mean, it comes out perfect temp, so why fuck with it?
Yeah, that's
So-
true. That's true.
So
Yeah.
going back to what Professor Allen was saying about joining a gym to supplement his training,
Yeah.
I kind of want to talk a little bit about that because that's something that I do a lot. Now and then, but not so much. I should have lifted weights 2 times a week, and for the 2018 Worlds, I did. I did do it twice a week with one of our professors. However, by myself, I would run about 3 miles every other day. I'd run 3 miles maybe 3 times a week.
You're in a 5K. Selling properly. You're in a 5K. See, it sounds like you're doing something for charity when you're like getting in shape.
Well, no, it sounds like I'm from London if I say I'm
No,
doing
man.
5K.
So
Sounds like
quickly,
you're curing cancer.
what would you say? So going to jiu-jitsu, what would you say? I think lifting weights twice a week is good, right? It's not too much. You're not going crazy, and you're still working your jiu-jitsu, start working your cardio.
Yeah.
Because technique, at the end, you got technique and cardio, and you still need strength. But strength, you kind of acquire like a jiu-jitsu strength, right? Because a lot of people tell me, like, they'll be like, oh, my God, your grip. No, it's not that. It's where we know how to frame, we know where to frame, and we know where to put pressure, right? What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. However, I think that whenever someone's trying to make a low weight, one concern is that they're going to lose strength, or that they're going to lose muscle as well as fat as well as water.
But that's where the twice a week comes in.
That's where the twice a week comes in. And I wouldn't even care about my times. 3 miles, 3 times a week. And at the beginning, right, let's say I was 2 months away from a tournament, I would run and my times would be okay. They'd be in the 20s,
15 minutes
right?
a mile and shit.
Well, towards the end, yes.
Hey, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, right? I mean,
It doesn't matter.
It's LSD, long, slow distance,
No.
right?
Yeah, look, you just like so towards
Unless
the
you want to
end.
do another LSD, then that's something else, right?
Towards the end, I would run 3 miles in like 50 minutes,
Yeah.
right? Just because I was so exhausted, right? I was so tired of pushing myself, but it would help me make weight. I'm not running to be the fastest runner in the world. I'm running just to
So,
sweat.
Coach Ricky, so are you saying you are going to go run with me at the track twice a week and do sprints and shit?
I'd say no.
No.
I wouldn't. I'm not saying that.
But that's why I'm asking Coach Ricky.
You can
So,
say
Coach
that.
Ricky, are you going to at least go once?
Yeah, I'll go once. You know, I was talking to another student at the gym about swimming because I used to swim, and how I still remember a bunch of workouts. I was a coach at a certain point, so I would create workouts, and all I need is access to a pool. I have all the info in my head. That is probably some of the best cardio you will ever do in your life.
Quick question, do you still swim?
From time to time, but not so much because I don't have access to a pool. Whenever I do swim, I try to make like an interval workout. You know, that's what I did a lot growing up in swim, was just intervals. In swim, they call it junk yardage. So it's just way
trash.
more, way more yards than a person needs to swim to get better. So
Don't let him say that to you.
No, I said
Well-
no, it's like, yeah.
yeah, because at my peak, I was swimming 10 to 12,000 yards a day. All right, and so one could argue that many yards is too much, that someone could equally get as fast swimming 8,000 yards a day, 7,000 yards a day. So, yeah, they call those type of workouts junk yardage. And so the philosophy behind it is a coach is going to just make a workout that has all this junk yardage and make everyone do it, and then whoever gets faster is going to excel, and everyone else will just kind of like fall behind. It's a good gauge. It's like throwing everything at the wall and seeing what sticks.
So like, so would you say that somebody who trains 5 days a week just jiu-jitsu, right? Or someone who does twice a week weights and does maybe 2 times a week jiu-jitsu and 2 times a week interval training, would you say that's a good mix-up, or would you say, hey, what would you pick? 5 days a week jiu-jitsu, or what would you do?
Well, so obviously, like if you're preparing for a tournament, you
No.
need as much jiu-jitsu as possible.
Trying to get in shape.
Just
For
trying to get in
jiu-jitsu.
shape.
Well, no.
I was gonna say, okay, so if you're just trying to get in shape, I would recommend, if you're just starting off, if you're brand new to jiu-jitsu, 2 to 3 times a week.
You're me, Coach Ricky. You're me.
Oh, 1 to 2.
Oh,
days.
Jesus Christ.
I gotta
I'm
run.
doing easily twice a week, 3 times. 3 times jiu-jitsu.
So, for me, if you're getting ready to compete, the aspect of the competition should be the most of the training,
Okay.
right? If I'm getting ready for a 10K,
Hold on.
my running should be the.
So we're just
There you go. My running should be the focus of the training. We're just gonna do butt to butt real quick.
cool.
So, like I was saying, I'm getting ready for a Muay Thai competition right now. I asked my coach. I'm getting ready for a Muay Thai fight in May.
Coach?
my crew. My crew.
Is that
My
like
crew?
a group of guys you're gonna fight with?
No, a crew is what you call the head instructor in Muay Thai.
That's my way of asking the question.
No,
Go
so
ahead.
that's like if I'm saying professor, right? But
Okay.
instead I'm saying crew. So my
Oh,
crew
okay,
is
okay,
Coach
okay.
Jonathan Harris,
There we go.
and I told him today, I was like, hey man, you know we're almost 1 month half out. I have time to condition and get stronger. Do you want me to do any kind of weights or anything like that? He just told me that the focus needs to be Muay Thai. He said if I want to do weights, it should be on my terms. If I want to do any running or extra stuff as that as well, but the focus should be the Muay Thai. So I would go along with what he is saying. The focus should be the aspect that you're going to compete, and then everything else is just supplementary. So if you're getting ready for a 10K, run as much as you can. Do jiu-jitsu when you can fit it in and it doesn't wear you too much out. And I would say the same thing for the other aspects of it.
So a lot of the guys who have kids, married, at the end of the day, try to do as much jiu-jitsu as you can, right? So nothing supplements jiu-jitsu than more jiu-jitsu, right? If you're trying to get better jiu-jitsu, you would
need
say
the
do
jiu-jitsu.
jiu-jitsu,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Now, if
It's
you-
not like I'm gonna do jiu-jitsu. Let me get in shape first.
That'll never happen,
then I'll come
right?
I've always hated that when you're trying to sign people up. You'd be like, hey, do you want to sign up? They're like, oh, I feel like I need to get in shape first. You're like,
Yeah.
you
This
don't need
this
to get
is
in
what
shape
you.
to exercise.
Yeah, like you're.
Like this is gonna get you.
This
in
will
shape. Like,
do it.
If someone was like, what should I do to get in shape? They'd be like, jiu-jitsu would be good.
That's like if I was like, Coach Ricky, I want to swim. I'm gonna go run some laps real quick and get in really good physical shape before I ever step foot in the
You'd
pool.
be like, that sounds fucking amazing. You want.
Hey guys,
Go
leave
ahead.
Coach Ricky alone, man. He's so nice. I love this dude.
That sounds like something Coach Ricky would say. He's like,
He-
you don't know. Have you ever done an intro with Coach
He's
Ricky?
very rough.
He is firm. Like
The roughest.
He's the
dude,
roughest.
He's like,
I say, what the fuck do you think
he
I'm here
does,
for?
like,
Oh
like
my
he's
God.
like he's like,
This
hey,
dude.
you ever trained before? And they're like, no, because Ricky changes his accent.
he talks like he's
Hey,
hey.
he's like, hey, you ever trained before? And they're
Gold
like-
chain
they're like,
pops out of the
"Nah."
chest for
He's
no
like-
reason.
He's
You know?
like, sit the fuck down. I'm about to sit on your chest. And they're like-
Bitch ass
they're like, did you say
motherfucker.
sit? And he's like, yeah. And they're like, okay. that got worrisome for a second.
Oh,
That weird.
shit.
You know what's always funny to me is whenever the person who I'm doing the intro lesson with, like whenever they start to resist, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm showing someone a technique. I'm like, okay, so I'm going to push your arm to the floor, right? And then
they
they
fight
just
it.
like, don't let me, right? And like I get it, kind of. Like they. I'm like they want to understand if everything works, but it's not like I'm doing any like kung fu magic to put your arm to the
You didn't
floor.
summon your G-ball?
No, I
No,
didn't.
that's it, mass program. Man.
So-
No touch submission.
So,
Amazing.
would you guys say jiu-jitsu or getting in shape or getting ready to compete for someone who's, an older grappler, right? So someone who's married with kids, who's in their 30s, late 30s, whatever.
Possibly named Alan.
Hey, you're not that far behind. Hold on a minute. Hold on.
His name.
We want to put it out there. I
His
think I
name-
train more than you, right?
He's trained. His
So-
name is Olivan. Olivan.
Now, hey, I'll put it out there with
Olivan
anyone.
via long.
Man, I'll tell you this.
Via
I don't
long.
train. I don't train because for circumstances, kids, life, and all this. But guess what? I've trained 3 times a week for over 12, 13 years, and it doesn't stop and it won't stop, right? So that's where it comes in, right? So a lot of these jiu-jitsu guys.
That's
coming in-
consistency.
it's consistency. It's discipline, right? There's discipline. This morning, I knew I was going to do this shit late at night. I had the kids at home. What the fuck did I do?
6:30
I
a.m.
met up 6:30 a.m. Holla. Hey, Zach, let him know what's up. Oh, shit. Unmute mic.
He was there for sure.
So
Zach
Zach,
is-
I got
Zach
a
is a
question,
reg.
Zach. I got a question, Zach. So
You look-
being, a grappler with kids and all this shit, how do you feel about training? How do you feel about getting in shape, of supplementing your training?
So I built a gym in my garage. I have a pretty extensive garage gym with
So I'm
Aerodyne
struggling here, not in shape, and you haven't even invited me. What the fuck?
We should
Get
we
the
should
fuck
get
out of
It's
here.
Zach's
It's a
house.
very exclusive club.
All right.
Yeah, it's a
Now
10 year.
I know.
It's a 10-year contract membership.
Because I don't
Oh,
want to be
shit.
waiting for the bench press. Like somebody's already on the squat,
don't wanna have to wipe your
doing
sweat.
lunges. I'm like,
Hey.
man.
It's a 30-year mortgage.
It's
So-
a 30-year.
God damn.
But I will say that even though I have a gym right in my garage, I can actually, feel your pain because just even going out into the garage means I'm not inside helping with the kid.
Oh, you're gonna hear
Correct.
about that too.
You know what I mean? So timing is everything, and it's always a balance of
Because whenever you're not helping with the kid, you're
do their thing and when can I do my thing.
Well, so I think that whenever you look at the age divisions in jiu-jitsu, and you see like the juveniles compete, this is a lot of athletic skills on top of some lose that athletic ability.
Of course.
So what I 2 or 3 times a week is to be able to maintain not flexibility, but just average range of motion. Like sometimes I've encountered
Going
people,
back to the D&D reference, I practice my spells.
there you go.
I
There you
gotta
go.
keep
Look,
my book fresh.
that was
You know, I gotta keep my core 4 like explosion.
his interruption factor. Is
Hey,
that a thing to
man,
roll for?
That's what it is.
No, is that a thing? Like
We're
you can
throwing
just
it out.
interrupt
We're
people?
throwing
So-
it out.
You're almost getting
we've had people that say like, "Oh yeah, I can't lift my arm above my head."
Mm-hmm.
Right? Well, that's not a question of flexibility. That's a question of range of motion.
Of course.
Right? So you need to keep your range of motion as good as possible, as well as your cardio, right? Like you need to be able to last, right? I mean, I know I crack jokes sometimes, but you are able to last,
course.
right? So that's what's most important. If you have to get off the mat, like for real have to get off the mat, because there's some people who just get off the mat because they're tired, but they could stay. If you really have to get off the mat, then that's an issue that you should address. That's an issue that happens less and less as you go through the belt system,
Would
right?
you say it's a discipline issue?
Yeah, absolutely. I remember being 18 and Professor Brandon yelling at me because I wanted to get water. And this was old Professor Brandon.
These
And
are
when
the
I say
Professor
old,
Brandon people don't know.
when I say old, I mean young.
People
This
don't
is
be
the
knowing.
Professor Brandon that was in competition.
Actively competitor Professor Brandon was not a fucking joke.
Right.
Making
Hey,
weight brand.
He would yell at me because I would want to get water, and I thought I was dying, but the reality of it is I wasn't dying.
You not really.
Well, I mean, technically, we're all dying.
But you not really though.
We're closer
Not
to
at the
death.
moment.
So in other words, man the fuck up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know,
Pretty much.
That's right, yeah.
Pretty
I
much.
mean, one thing I've learned to do is, man, no matter
Get
how
tired?
no matter how shit, goddamn. All right, I don't know what
My nemesis is a man with robots.
he fucking has red shoes and he
Hey, I'm
dresses up
talking.
at
Hey
night.
guys, I'm talking from my personal life. All right, can you guys chill?
Oh
Hey.
shit!
Oh
All right.
shit! Question mark. What's going on?
What be
Facebook
happening?
wants to know.
Hey,
It's a big
hey,
question
hey,
mark.
Oliver, what would you describe your jiu-jitsu as far as a creature, animal? Like, goddamn.
What? What are you looking at me for an answer? I don't know.
I don't know. I've never had to answer.
It's kind
I
of
don't know.
weird, right?
Maybe a panda bear.
Panda. Oh.
Hey, they have good low singles.
Oh shit.
They do.
Yeah.
Good inverted guard.
All
Yeah,
right.
well,
Sure.
I'll roll around a lot, and like, I'm flexible for some dude with a gut like mine, so like it surprises people sometimes. And it kind
Alrighty.
of surprises me.
So this is people are gonna see this on the podcast.
Oh shit.
Nice.
Who's this
This is from our hopeful soon-to-be
Man.
sponsor. Maybe
Shout
one of
out
us
to
can
Dan.
head over there and talk.
Hey, if any of our Facebook listeners, followers, or whatever can get in touch with Dan's Pizza, tell that fool to tune in because we're having a Dan's Pizza
Maybe we
right
can
now.
have Dan on here,
Yeah,
right?
man, we should
God
get Dan
damn.
on
We
here.
should. Dan's an
We
interesting.
gotta-
He's a super
shit.
interesting guy.
Meats.
Oh shit.
We want to talk to Dan about
I got that Philly pizza,
maybe
yo.
some business we can do together. Some business. What about you, Professor Al? What kind of
Man.
animal?
Yeah.
annoys the shit out of me.
I saw a post that it had two wolves, and it said, "Inside you there are two wolves. One is gay. The other is gay.
shit.
You are gay."
Oh shit.
That's great.
That makes me feel
That's-
bad for the wolves.
That's the most inspirational
What the
ever.
fuck has to do with that? Man. Well, we got let's address one quick what's in the box question. shall we?
What in the box?
It's an easy one, but it was submitted, so let's definitely.
How come I was the only one that did it? That's how we were all supposed to do it.
Because I'm looking for
Fuck all of y'all.
Hold on, on the count of
Yeah,
three.
don't fucking eat my
On the
pizza.
count of
How
three.
about that?
On the count of three. You ready? 1, 2.
Suck a dick.
Alright. What's in the motherfucking box?
There you go, that's what
All
I'm
right,
talking
here we go.
about.
So this is from Vic. No last initial, so we're just gonna make one up.
Gerard.
Vic
Same guy.
Alpha.
No, Big Jared.
Jared,
It's
yeah.
always Jared.
Vic
It's
Ger-
always Jared.
Vic Gerard.
Big Jared.
Vic Gerard.
I didn't know Jared was an initial.
Yeah, it is. It's a bunch of initials put
Yeah,
together.
it's
to form a
an
word.
acronym.
Yeah, it is. It stands for
Just
Jared.
always really excited, duh.
Yeah.
That works.
That works.
What if his name is Jerrod?
Then he's retarded.
Gerard. Hey, whoa. All Jareds matter. All right. So from Vic Jared, we're not going to assume the spelling. When is it okay to wash your belt? My two scenarios when I wash mine are: one, I just received a new belt and it's super stiff. I wash it with fabric softener, but don't dry it before training in it. And two, I just lost a tournament. I want to wash off the bad juju. What do you guys think?
Man.
Go ahead.
I like.
I mean, with all fucking seriousness, like, man, some belts are made better than others. We're gonna be honest, right? So you have, you know, you gotta wash your belt. You gotta wash your belt because you have to be sanitary. You can't be spreading shit, and the shit has a funk to it, right? So I would say once you start smelling the funk, or every couple, maybe once a month, maybe twice, once every 2 months, you gotta wash it, man. You gotta wash it. Some people don't. Some people have this superstitious shit. That's bullshit.
I have never washed any one of my belts.
You smell really good. Your belt smells great.
Not blue, not purple, not brown, not black. I have not washed any single one. I put super glue on my stripes so that they would not fall off,
Shit.
so that I could keep the original tape that was put on the stripe. And no, I've never washed any single one of my belts. I remember when I was a blue belt, I left my key on top of my car, and I was a blue belt
That's good,
4 stripe, and that thing was tattered to shit. I drove off with the gi on top of my car. It's like a $200 gi. I didn't give a fuck about the gi. I was like, where's my tattered blue belt, that shit better be
yeah.
half pounded.
So what do? Do you put it in the dryer with some dry, some sheets of dryer sheets, make it smell good?
No, I either let it air dry next to a dehumidifier, right? Because that gets it to dry pretty good.
Okay.
Or I let it dry out in the sun when the sun is like.
And what
really
causes
bright
stench
and
is
powerful.
the
The bacteria.
humidity.
Yeah, bacteria. Yeah. So, of course, you gotta be. I'm not gonna take my sweaty belt and put it in my trunk and drive around in the hot summer and then wear it again. Like, that's dumb. Let it air out, but you don't fucking need to wash it.
I have never ever washed my belt, and I have never like
Yeah, I'm
done
pretty sure-
anything to.
I'm pretty sure I haven't infected anybody either.
Not like Brandon passed on those jiu-jitsu transitions.
not like Professor Brandon's infamous lesser known
And
STD.
Lisa notice says, call me a little thing of Lotrimin. Yeah, I keep thinking about that shit.
He's like,
And I got a picture of Steve Madden.
That's a lesser known
he's like,
STD.
give me a call. You can use my CVS account number. So I'm gonna get a discount on that
His
rig
fucking
on free.
insurance card. Like,
Hey, yeah, go check if Professor Brandon was sponsored by Lotrimin.
Oh, man.
Go check his old
shit,
D's.
Lamisil. Fucking.
He's gonna hate
Oh
you
my
guys.
god.
He's an anti. He
Well,
loves us.
Yeah, I don't wash my belt either. I just I don't.
I guess you'd have to train first, right?
Well, you know what? Possibly.
Well,
Probably.
yeah. I mean, another thing is that it's.
Plausibly.
Plausibly.
This is plausibly.
It's plausible.
This might sound very lazy of me, but like it's another thing to look after, right? And
No, it
like
definitely sounds lazy.
it's
Yeah.
like why give you an extra chore? I'm sure you're busy enough as it is.
Laundry, you're like lights, darts,
Unnecessary.
wipes, and then jiu-jitsu belts. So you're like, I'm not gonna do a load for one belt.
That's it.
Maybe next year.
Hey, you'd be surprised. I mean, shit. I mean, the point of the story is stay clean, right? If you notice that shit's like all fucked up, or there's people like fucking ringworm and staph, then wash your shit, right?
I mean, my belt is all fucked up right now.
Yeah, it's real fucked up.
Right, but like anything to it, right? Like
You know what's funny? Sometimes like the inside colors of those belts. Like
No, my-
this I rarely. It looks like an 80s
My,
like pillow sheet.
My purple belt was
Who's
like,
out?
my purple belt was like rainbow colored when it started to tatter up.
Yeah.
Every single one of my belts, blue belt,
Showing
purple
your
belt,
true colors, bro.
true colors.
True colors,
Yeah, flying high.
You're like, bro, this is jiu-jitsu's on fire.
Dude.
Got him over there lame.
Every single one of my belts, people have been like, "Did you cut it up? Did you like haul? Is this a toe strap you've been using?"
You're like, no, bro, I got it at Aeropostale. I bought it brand new.
No,
It
yeah,
was $87 for a
it's
weather
acid
belt.
washed.
Yeah, it's acid.
It's acid washed.
4 Guatemalan kids rubbed it on the concrete for fucking a week and a half. Not all at the same time.
Hey, I might know those Guatemalan kids.
Probably.
Man.
Shit. Well, they're Mexican.
Yeah, they're all Mexican. They're all sorry,
South
Mexican.
American.
South Mexican.
They're from one of those
North
Mexican countries.
North Mexican, Central Mexican, and South Mexican.
Oh, man.
Oh
You should
shit.
ask Trump to point that
Oh
out.
shit.
Where's that?
I didn't know I came from a Mexican country. Anyways, what else we do?
I'm from England. I'm practically from a Mexican country as far as everybody is concerned.
No man, you're from Canada.
That's right. Yeah. I'm Canadian. I reek like fucking like maple syrup and Justin Bieber. This shit sucks.
So
All right, what we got, Ollie?
Yeah, that was it for
Hooligan.
what's in the box right now. But man, I'm kind of eating this pizza. I kind of feel like I need another beer, to be honest with you.
Well, we'll fucking get one then,
No,
big baby.
Man, don't talk with him.
No, I'll go get one.
Really?
He said for himself though.
Oh. Well, could you get?
well, Coach Ricky has my back. You already know.
He's like, I'm
Coach
getting
Ricky.
everybody one. Actually, I
No,
want to
that's
ask
holding my
Zach
shit.
a question. We didn't find out what kind of jujitsu animal Zach
What
is
is
rocking over
Zach
there. What is
jujitsu?
that?
And, like, if
Animal.
I'm looking at Zach in the eyes, he's looking at me right now. I think he's a flying squirrel.
No. He's
Flying
like
squirrel.
he's like Tiger, but like Tony, like
Like
the
the
guy
one
from
where
Frosted
you-
Flakes
Come
though.
on.
Like Tony
Like
the
I
Tiger.
can bounce on my tail.
Oh,
No, honestly,
shit.
rolling with Zach,
Yeah.
he doesn't stop moving. He never lets you get set. So whatever.
Yeah.
animal-
I'm
Tasmanian
a
devil.
shark. I'm like a shark.
No, Tasmanian devil.
But if you get me on my back, I'm pretty good on my back. So
Yeah, sharks aren't
like,
good off of their back.
So I sparred with him, and I'm thinking, man, I haven't sparred with
Tasmanian
Zach.
devil.
He has some weight on me, but fuck it. I think fuck it.
But fuck it.
But
This dude
fuck
is
it.
not stopping. I'm like, I'm starting to get tired, you know? Like, goddamn. But So what would you say? What would you say
I'm relentless.
your jiu-jitsu animal is?
I
Or
don't know,
straight
what's-
up beast?
What's a relentless?
Straight up beast.
Like a honey badger? You
Oh,
just
honey
like
ba-
just
hey.
won't
Shit.
fucking
They're
stop.
badass.
Man, if you would have said
mongoose,
if you would have
bro.
said honey
A
badger or
mongoose.
mongoose like 5 years ago, you'd be revolutionizing. But now that shit's all over rash
Now
guards.
everybody.
Everybody.
I'd
fuck-
say I'd be a cyborg. Has that been taken?
that's an animal. Yeah, that's definitely an animal.
Well, I mean,
He's gonna
make
be.
it an animal.
He's gonna be a
cyborg.
Optimus Prime from the series where they were all like animals and shit. So he's gonna be like a gorilla.
I'll be
Yeah,
a
something like
cyborg
that.
honey badger
There you go.
there
so-
you go.
Sweet.
There you go.
because I made it. Yeah.
Because you're made of honey, or a
He's
badger,
just
or you're
sweet
made,
like
or you're made of a badger.
like
He's just sweet like that. Fuck
He's
it.
half badger, half honey. Yeah. He's sweet ruthless. I love it. I love it. That's a good one.
Well, one thing that I noticed is the way someone spars or rolls or whatever the fuck you want to call it says a lot about somebody's personality, right? So I'm gonna give you an example. You go with this someone who's fucking spaz, white, blue, purple.
Hold on,
They're
before
fucking crazy.
so sorry. Before I cut you off, I've had multiple people come up to me and be like, "Man, Professor Allen fucking hates those white belts, huh?" Allen talks shit about white belt every single podcast. He's like, "Well, hey
That's not
guys,
a
well,
white belt
hey guys, well, let's talk about these fucking spazzes, right?" Every
it's not-
episode.
it's not a white
But
belt
why
thing.
you bring
It's-
this up every
It's not a
episode?
white
He
belt.
did say blue belt too.
He did say blue belt. He
there's
did say
even-
blue belt.
Hey, there's even black belts out there. What I'm saying is this. What I'm saying. what I'm saying is this. It says no, and it has nothing to do about spazzes or white belt. It has something to do with personality. For example,
I think it's training
man,
mentality. I think it's just
spar
training
with people,
mentality.
and I can kind of sense what type of person they are. It's weird, but I can sense it.
Are you a mutant?
Well,
Because you have
hey,
like
man,
tactile
hey, man,
telepathy.
When you're in tune with,
there's-
your jiu-jitsu and it's not all just, man, you get to see and it's a little more in depth, right? So you have these guys and kung fu guys who think they're fucking animals and they think they're eagles and shit like that. It's the same shit. I don't know about you, but when I meet a guy and he's a nice guy and he, you know, like if I spar with
It's like
Coach
on
Ricky, if I
on
spar Coach
Grindr or
Ricky,
on person?
I don't know. Is your account's active, right? Anyways, so like
Slid in
Coach
my
Ricky,
DMs,
you
motherfucker.
spar Coach Ricky. I know he's not gonna hurt me. I know he's not gonna go nuts. Like that tells a lot about his personality. I go with you. You go a little faster, but I know you're not gonna hurt me. That says a lot. But then you have someone flaring elbows, right?
But I don't think that's personality, Professor. I think that's training mentality, which takes a time for people to develop. Because at first, if you've never trained before or you've been training for a year, like every roll is still like a real fight.
Yeah.
Especially if you've never gotten into an actual fight before and you start training jiu-jitsu, every single
there's brown
roll,
belts.
every single
black
roll.
belts.
Yeah, but do you
Every
think
single roll's
do you
gonna
think
be
your
like that.
mentality that you have
That's
in
what I'm trying to
jiu-jitsu is the same mentality that you would take to soccer or baseball? Like how you are, maybe just how you are, and maybe some of the mentality
You
can't be
saying like,
learned.
you
Mean
saying
by
like we
this.
like we take him to Dave and Buster's and they just beat the fuck out of all the toys,
Yeah,
out of
or
all the.
if you got an aggressive
the squirrel
person,
that pops
they
in
might.
the
If
thing.
they were a baseball player, they might be aggressive batter, getting crowding the plate, or,
If you're
a
or stealing
bitch,
bases,
a
or
fucking-
running over the like it. But the
So-
mentality of their how they play sports.
So you're
maybe.
gonna have a personal style that doesn't necessarily like play to the way your mentality comes off. You know what I mean? Because you can be an intense person, and starting off, you can be kind of like wild and crazy and all over the place, and you can hone that down to just being extremely persistent. Now, you may have not slowed down that much, but now you're trying specific techniques and you're really applying at a specific point instead of just kind of being like all over the place. So now you go from you're not really a spaz, you just move a lot, right? You're just persistent,
Well, I'm not
right? So
talking-
it's a difference there. Like if I'm dealing with some purple belts and brown belts now that I'm like, well, I can't fucking goof around with these guys, you know what I mean? Like I have to, because they're persistent. They have their moves, they're coming at me, and they're not spazzing, but they're not stopping either, you know what I mean? So I think you just develop your personal style. Like people bring up my brother. My brother is a grinder. He'll just weigh you down. You know, he'll beat you down with
Sounds active.
yeah, like me, I bounce around a lot more. I move around a whole lot. But this is not because one of us is a spaz and one of us isn't.
Well, what
It's
I
just
mean
we have
by
different
that
styles.
is that your elbows aren't flaring around, is what I'm saying. So
Yeah, but
I'm
that's
not
a new
talking
thing.
about spazzing. So I'm not talking about spazzing. I'm talking about about like what Zach was saying is I can see how the way someone spars a lot with their personality. So if someone is bitching out in a spar, you see those guys in the middle of the fucking round, they're leaving, they're going home. Bitch. Like, it's a bitch. And you can tell because they'll be tough guys, they'll be tough in the match. 2 minutes into the match, they're tired, which I'm tired too, and we all know that I'm not training as much as they are, and I'm not giving up, and they're bitching out. So
it's like some people have things that they don't need to prove to others, but they need to prove to themselves. And you can test that daily.
So
if you want.
So I don't think that. So once again, I don't think that goes to being
I'm
a
not
spaz.
saying 100%.
So no, but I'm not saying that goes to being a spaz because
I'm not saying spaz.
People have to develop an ability to train while tired and uncomfortable, and hot and all this stuff. So I feel that the guys that like to be very explosive are also the same people that will be like, oh, I'm too tired, because they know they need a certain level of like explosion and agility, so they feel like, oh, I can't perform. But these people need to just stay on the mat, because then that's whenever you will truly get to that next level. You'll break through the ceiling. So you have to stay on the mat. Like, it's okay. You're tired. You're like, oh, look, I'm a purple belt, and this blue belt I know is good, and I'm too tired to handle them. I'm going to take a round off. No, that's when you should say, I'm going to work my defense. I'm going to recover. And whenever I'm recovered during the round, then I'm going to come back. So I just think this is once again, I go back to training mentality. You need to go back to saying, I'm tired, I'm exhausted, I can't perform like I should. I'm going to keep training.
Or would you say that has something to do with work? For example, in jiu-jitsu, I may be tired. I'm not going to quit. I'm still going to try to get you. Same shit.
What do you mean with work, though?
With work, at work, when I'm at my job.
Oh, yeah, it translates.
It translates.
Yeah.
So if someone has that bitch assness and fucking jiu-jitsu, quitting halfway through, leaving the fucking mat, I need fucking water before the fucking end of the round, they're going to fucking take that day off. They're going to call fucking off when they're fucking tired. And they have.
I agree, so Professor. This is one of the things why I believe jiu-jitsu is such a great tool that'll help you throughout life. I was telling people this all the time. Making yourself do shit you don't want to do is a muscle you need to exercise and grow. And jiu-jitsu will help you do that. Like, I don't want to fucking get up and run 30 minutes without eating or drinking anything when I wake up in the morning. But guess what? If I have a tournament coming up, if I have a tournament coming up and I need to do it, no, I'll do it. And I'm not the exception, because there's a lot of people like this out there. You just work that muscle of making yourself do something you don't want to do, but you need to do. So let me go back to the office stuff. Whenever you have paperwork in the office that you know what, I can get this shit done tomorrow when I get in real quick. Nobody will really notice, right? That's when you tell yourself, like, no, do this extra fucking 5 minutes of work so you don't have to get up 30 minutes early tomorrow. Well, this is what jiu-jitsu should develop in everybody.
It should.
Right?
That's what I'm trying to get to.
Yeah.
It should, right? Well, what do you think, Zach?
How you do anything is how you do everything.
Yeah.
So if you're the way you are on the mats is probably how you are in life. Like when he says I don't stop moving, I'm like, that's how I am at my job. Like, I'm always into everything.
Yeah. Your personality will come out.
Right. Yeah. And I think there's something too to you got to think. A lot of people come to jiu-jitsu in different ways, and there's a lot of people that start jiu-jitsu and never played any high school sports. So they're actually learning right now just how to even, like, what is training. Like, they've never trained for anything before. Right. Like, be trying to become an athlete when you're in your 30s and you've never done that before. It's not, like, kind of ingrained in you, like football practice or baseball practice or basketball or swimming or whatever it was. It's completely new. So them getting caught up to just the mentality is almost, they can never even catch up, right? And just because you spend so much time on something does not guarantee you're going to get something, because everyone starts at different levels.
Absolutely.
So what I'm saying is people get through the cracks. Like, I see people, and people may like this, may not like. I see people at a certain level right now, and I'm thinking, how the hell did this happen? How did this happen, right? Because, I train twice a week, 3 times a week. I put it out there. I'll go with anyone. I don't give a fuck. Whether I win, lose, I don't even see that, right? That's not how I see it. but it's out there. I expose myself. That's how you know you're sure of yourself, whatever it is. So you have a lot of people who don't do it. The moment you get them once, you beat them 100 times. The moment they're tired, they go to the bathroom, or they leave, or they whatever. So
So you're just talking about breaking people.
No.
Well, I mean,
People
like,
break themselves,
people
right?
break.
They
Yeah,
break
break.
them. They
People
break
break,
themselves.
but, like,
If
you
you
never
look
get
at
into
the
that
mat,
point
if
where
you
they
look
quit.
on the mat, the people who leave, they're always the same people, and the people who quit, always the same people. So, does jiu-jitsu make people, or should make people stronger? Yes. Do people take advantage of it? Not all the time, right? So it's like the guy who the girl says, "Hey, I just want to be friends," and he continues to give her fucking rides and takes her to fucking movies and shit like that. He's always hanging around. Like, get the fucking point.
Yeah, well, so I think that like, so first of all, jiu-jitsu is a very like vulnerable thing, right? Like you're trusting. In some cases, you don't trust, but most of the time, you're trusting your partner to like train with the same set of rules and kind of with caution of their own and your own body. And so when someone submits you, right? If someone gets you, right? That's a very like vulnerable feeling, right? Because then at that point it's just you are literally just like accepting that they could have done whatever, right? And
Whatever.
yeah.
Whatever. Just.
Well, like let's put it like this.
Do I go north south?
Getting it good.
Let's say I'm training and my partner gets in an X choke, and I want to hang on tight,
Okay,
right?
so he gets in an X choke. Now you put his ass there, like he falls into it.
No, like he gets an X choke on me.
Oh, on you. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, fine.
Then, at a certain point, I'm like, okay, I need to tap or I'm going to go to sleep, right? And when I tap, that's trust in my partner that he's going to let go, right? And that in it of itself is a very vulnerable thing. So whenever you see people start jiu-jitsu, or it might not even be starting, it's just like down the road, it's a thing that people don't feel comfortable getting to that level.
No.
You know, like
That's a good point.
Some
Coach Ricky.
some people tap before the submission is
Yeah.
fully on.
I
Some
don't
people
like that
tap when
shit.
you pass their guard.
I don't like
Dude, yeah.
So that's what I'm
talking.
talking about.
Yeah, no, that's one thing you see a lot. Like even like when we're not even doing submissions, we're doing situational training. It's, I mean, the rule is you hold for 3 seconds and you establish position, just like tournament. You get your
Yeah.
points and everything. People will be sliding out of half guard with knee slides. Like they gotta like still have like a quarter guard ankle in there, and the guy's like, you got me. It's like, no,
There's still a lot. Yeah.
keep going. It's
Yeah.
like you
I
still
put
have
him right back
opportunity
into it.
to
I'm just
recover.
like, I wait till you can't breathe anymore.
So go back, going
Yo,
back
what
to
the fuck?
going back to what Coach Ricky said. I'm happy to say this on a public forum because I believe there's people out there training that still don't realize this is the case. Tapping is a 2-person deal,
Yeah.
right? It's a 2-person deal. I am tapping, and I'm going to trust that you let go, right? And then the other person needs to trust you that you will tap before you get injured,
Yeah.
right? If I get caught in an arm lock by Oliver and Oliver's cranking on it and I'm being stubborn and then my arm goes pop, 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 pop,
That's on
and
you.
I'm hurt. Yeah, I cannot be like, what the fuck, dude? You hurt me. You're an asshole, whatever. No, I'm the one that chose to stay in there. I'm the one that didn't tap. I'm the one that has to deal with the consequences. So there's people that don't realize this shit. Like, if you're being stubborn and you're holding out to tap, guess what? You better be ready to tap fast like a
So
motherfucker.
if you're holding on to the tab, you're getting hurt. Does that say in your other parts of your life you're stubborn?
Well,
Wait.
I mean-
you have an ego.
Well,
yeah,
okay.
I wouldn't go as far as like you're
Well,
stubborn, but
or
it,
ego or whatever. So
it-
we are saying that
it exposes
the way,
a certain aspect
so the
of
way
your
you-
personality.
The
yeah.
way you train does have something to do
But look,
with
this
the way
is
you.
but this is also a being new thing. There's also a being new thing.
Well, it's also one of those things before you sign up. You're sitting around watching UFC and you're like sitting with all your friends. You're like, look at all these guys.
Like,
I could do that.
you kinda
shit.
wanna prove
And
you're
then when you go to
tough.
sign up for that
Yeah, you
class
wanna-
and you're like, I told all my friends I can do this shit, and after 2 weeks, you're like, I want to.
Yo, there's brown belts right now or
Fuck
purple
this.
belts until the point of pain, and you have to let go because you're gonna hurt them. So
I
that
don't let
I'm not
go,
trying to be
man.
mean.
Yeah, I also
let
don't let go, but like, so the other day,
If you're snoring,
I will tell them like you need to tap
No, I-
right now.
You're close,
yeah.
bro.
No.
Oh, I do the same thing, but I'm saying the person that doesn't tap. That's
It's on them.
so look, the other
John,
day I was putting an arm bar and I had room to escape, right? Like the arm bar was tight, yes. I had room to escape, so I kept going. And I started to escape and I felt there was more space, so I was able to move a lot more. Like the training partner was at risk of losing that arm bar. And then there was a readjustment to where I was stuck back in it again.
Thursday morning.
No, and whenever I got stuck there again, I knew that all of my roads were dead ends, right? So that's when I tap.
but you're Coach Ricky.
Look, if something happens where all of my options lead to dead ends, then I tap, right? If I am in pain, but there is still something I can do,
I'm gonna do it.
I'm gonna try it, right?
Yeah, but that's not
Yeah,
being
you're-
stubborn so
that's
much
good.
as that's
It's just realizing the situation,
Well,
but that goes in with skill
well,
though.
that goes in with like having time on the mat and being in
Yeah.
those positions multiple times.
The
Like,
building a skill set.
Yeah, I mean, you know your limits. You're there. I mean, as long as you're not getting yourself ready for competition, you're not like you're there to test your limits. To know, I mean, because we can always tap as soon as someone grabs our collar, but until that hand's sunk in or the hand passes over, you're not really at that point to where you're like, okay, this is really causing damage.
Yeah.
True, and have you ever seen anyone get submitted by something they didn't know? It's a weird thing for them because sometimes it comes on fast, right? And so, for example, I think the best example is whenever someone first gets their brown belt and they're not necessarily fully aware of the knee bar or the toe hold,
Foot lock
and
it.
one of them comes
Foot lock
on quickly, right? So they tap because things were moving too fast for them to react
Tap because of the
because
unknown.
they because it was unknown.
Absolutely, man. But also like you've never heard someone be like, oh man, I cracked my elbow. I've never been able to train again. You've heard someone be like, I've twisted my knee and I can't train.
Yeah.
Man, leg injuries are serious, man. They come on quick, I mean, every now and then you'll be like, it's more of a pain thing and then snap, but usually it's like, oh man, I'm good. Oh, pop, and it comes on super quick. But you just gotta know how to play with them.
Yeah.
Especially with leg locks, with anything in general, I'm gonna defend to the last moment. I get this from Professor Brandon and all our great instructors. We defend to the last second, so that means that we're gonna tap like yelling, like tap. Yeah. So today I was training and I got caught in a knee bar, and it was one of those situations where like it tightened up really fast, and I tapped, and then after I tapped, I was like, shit, man, I probably could have fought out of that a little bit. But it's that factor of like, boom, it's on. You got to respect it.
Yeah, but you're there now. No, I mean, you get that slap hands.
Nah,
again,
nah.
That's just how it is.
You there? Nah.
Yeah, and
Banana.
when it comes to competition like that, you got to expect things to come on quicker and stronger than you have ever felt before in your life.
Absolutely.
Ooh, y'all see that dude get his arm broken at Pan Am's? Was it Pan Am's? That shit was going around Instagram. Oh, you couldn't see the arm. You could see the
That dude was Cobrina's son.
Cobrinha. Little Cobra.
Man, but he
That shit. Ooh, that
Well,
that was gnarly.
Yeah, F that S right in the air.
Well, so if you look at the clip, whenever he gets out of the armbar, he ends up on top and he kind of backs away.
Uh-huh.
And the guy who performed the armbar, his name's Gabriel Mateus, and he
That's what he did. He like looked at him and was like,
he pointed
he was
at
like, "Are you okay?"
him and asked if you're okay, and the ref, no, he held his arm as if Cobrina's son held his arm as if he couldn't go on anymore, and Gabriel Mateus pointed at one of the refs and pointed back at his competitor, and then you see a ref stop the match. I don't know if that's how the match ended. No, wait, who?
The guy talking.
Yeah, the guy talking to the ref. 'Cause you're allowed to
No,
talk to the ref,
no,
right?
I
Or
don't.
is that
I
just
don't.
point deduction?
Yeah, I don't know. It will. So it's a penalty.
Under the Birdo rules, that's a yellow card.
No, the rule is a penalty. So if he had 3 penalties already, then it might have been a disqualification. I doubt he had that. However, I think they stopped it because he couldn't continue.
Yeah.
Right.
At that point, it's look. We're there to break bones, man. Professor Drake put it this way whenever was it Homolo that got
Got his ankle done.
his ankle broken over, and you know,
One day?
yeah, I think so. Like, we're there to break bones, and if the bone gets broken, like, you technically are incapacitated. You should not continue. If he dies, he dies. So if the bone gets broken, like I agree with that. It's for the safety of the competitor. There's so many bad things that can happen when you have a fracture just open in your body.
absolutely.
So it should if it
Yeah, a match
it
should
should've
stop
stopped,
once
yeah.
a bone is broken or an arm is
But what
hyperextended.
if the heart is broken, like mid-match?
Then that's when you leave the
That's
match
rough.
in the middle of
That's
a
when you
spar
play
and
the
you're
80s
thirsty.
pop.
Yeah.
That means when you're thirsty or you're fucking tired and you leave the fucking mat.
No, that's when your will's broken, bro.
Well, that's
halfway
why,
through,
yeah.
Like Celine Dion comes on that Titanic song, and you're like, "Fuck, we're all drowning out here, Jack.
Fuck that.
This is fucked up." I'm just saying.
this is my door.
Shake
Get
it
your
out.
own door.
Shake
It's
it
like
out.
the
That's
new
right.
Karate
This
Kid's
is-
back out again, right? I'm serious. Did you see the trailer for the Karate Kid next season?
Dude, I'm excited.
What?
About Cobra Kai.
The Cobra
Cobra
Kai.
Kai
Yeah,
season.
yeah.
I saw the free episode,
I
the
didn't
first
see- I
one.
didn't
That's
see
all I
that.
saw.
Did
So
you
I'm
watch
on
all
episode
season
2.
Did
You know,
watch all season
yeah,
one?
I watched all
Good
season
Cobra
1,
Kai.
and I thought it was good because they really played off of the whole thing that the real asshole was
conspiracy
Johnny.
theory?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or not Johnny.
Daniel.
Daniel was the real asshole.
Johnny's
So they
Karate
keep
Kid.
playing off of that because
Yeah,
that was like
so-
a YouTube like
Yeah. So what?
conspiracy theory
So
thing.
what they do good is like whenever he's a kid, Daniel's poor, and he's the one getting picked on and beat up, and Johnny's rich, and he's the bully.
Yeah.
And they kind of reverse it because Daniel's really successful now,
Multi-card
and
boner.
and Johnny's broke. And Daniel's kind of a bully because he won't let him open up a Cobra Kai to like make a living,
There's,
and so
like,
he's shutting him up.
misunderstanding
Yeah, he's like,
between
yeah, and like there's
It makes me feel
sons
bad for
and
him.
daughters involved. It gets really interesting.
I'm glad you watched this, man.
it
So,
tugs at your
I'm
heart.
gonna watch the second one. I'm gonna
So
watch
Zach,
I'm
all this
super
happens
excited.
after the first free episode that YouTube Red gave.
Yeah,
me.
I know.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
there
I'm
was
just
like
asking, I'm
there was
just
like
saying.
9 after
Okay.
that.
I
I
played
think for
catch up.
sure.
It was good, dude. I binge watched it in one night, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I did it
It
over
was
like
really
a
good.
Saturday.
It was
My
really
wife was really
For
pleased
the
with
Revis
me.
Brothers, the Karate Kid was.
Man, go fuck yourself.
Oh,
How about that?
Yeah, he knows Jaded Pinkett Smith or the little
Yeah, Jada
Will
Pinkett
Smith.
Oh,
Smith's the
shit.
car.
Like, I know about Jackie Chan, motherfucker.
Yeah, and then he made a rap
My
song.
bad. Yeah, you're right. My bad.
He's like-
he totally rapped about it. Fucking
Yeah.
asshole.
So today I was actually texting.
Like I know who Jackie Chan is.
that was Karate Kid too.
Today I was
That's my
actually
favorite,
texting Professor Allen, and we were talking about this new show on Netflix. It's over a missing persons case.
Oh,
it's
shit.
it's the
Yeah,
disappearance.
I love missing people.
It's the disappearance
I
of.
love missing people.
I
I
think.
want
don't know
to
where-
find your.
I don't
ass.
know where
Professor, what's the
Professor-
name?
I want to find your.
Where
ass.
did your hands go whenever he said missing?
Yo,
person?
you already know it's down south and it's going deep. Anyways,
What's the
Just
name?
disappeared.
Hold on, guys. What's the name?
you already know.
No.
What's her name?
I think it's
What's her
Madeline.
name?
You know, Alan's
so,
lost
so,
now.
so,
Say
so,
my name,
so
bitch.
look, there, this on Netflix. It's called The Disappearance of Madeline McCann. So back in
Oh, you were talking
07,
about this earlier.
Back
yeah.
in 07, this girl, she went missing. Her parents were on vacation in Portugal, and
You're like
and-
the Rain Man of missing people.
Yo, I love this shit. I live for this shit. I want this shit. Anyways, so what it
This
is?
is for all the parents out there of missing people to know. You're making
I'll find
Professor
your-
Allen's happy
find your-
life.
knows
Professor
all
Allen will
about it.
find you.
Yo,
Professor-
I will find you.
If you hear that somebody Professor Allen knows ends up missing,
Hey, fuck
Yeah, I like it.
Equisearch.
That's-
Come
I'm
get
not
me.
out pointing fingers.
Yeah.
Fuck Equisearch. Come get me.
How many people have you found?
I found 2 actually.
No, but
How many
no,
people
but
have you made
hey,
disappear?
hey guys, listen to
it's
the
been a
story.
lot more than 2.
Guys, listen to the story because this story is crazy.
So check this out. So everyone here who has kids, you know, man, you always have scary moments, and we talked about it earlier today. You have scary moments. So these people, you know, the mother and father are a doctor. They're staying in a resort in Portugal where everyone goes for holiday. Anyways, so that's vacation. So
You idiot.
So, do you know what a holiday is? I'm not talking about
We
Fourth of
got
July.
hotel,
we
yeah,
got
it's
a
a
true
hotel.
European
Yeah,
here.
he knows.
It's
so
a hotel.
So what it is? So from where they're sitting in the restaurant, they can see the apartment where they're staying. So every 2 hours or every hour.
No, it was every 20 minutes,
Oh,
Professor.
thank you, Ricky. So they were going to check on the kids. They were going to go check on the kids. So they go check on the kids. On the third time they go to check on the kids, they noticed that the daughter disappeared. So now it's a big thing, right? So, think about, as parents, everyone goes through moments where you feel like you lost your kid, or even as a child, you ran away from your kid, from your parents, right? So,
As a
yeah,
child, I
Madeline
ran away
McCann,
from my
disappearance of
kids.
Madeline McCann. I have tons of disappearing people that I can name.
Yeah,
So-
he's actually got a big black book of names of people that he knows that have disappeared.
He's got
Yeah.
he's got a large wall with a lot of red string all over it, ladies and
It's a
gentlemen.
newspaper cuttings.
No, so
Yeah, there's a lot of red X's through them, and I think it's lipstick that he's using.
Hey,
There's,
It's very
there's,
So-
there's darts all over the board. It's weird.
He's got
Man,
Goodbye
I love
Horses
it.
on repeat.
I love it, man.
so check this out. Actually, in the first episode, whenever they're eating dinner and they can see their own apartment, the first person to check on the daughter was the dad. Right, the dad went there. He opened the door. Right, saw that she was sleeping, and then instead of closing the door, he kind of just left it cracked.
to the apartment?
I think so.
Like the outside of the apartment?
I'm not. According to Netflix,
To
yes.
the room, to the room.
To the room.
To the room.
Yes.
Oh, that's not smart.
Yeah, and so then in 20 minutes, the grandpa went up there, right? And he noticed that the door was cracked, and he noticed. So this is where it gets ambiguous.
Should we put some
There's-
spoiler alerts out there?
Yeah, hashtag spoiler alerts. Anybody
Yo,
who's tuning into
AK
Netflix, mute your shit now.
She hasn't been found. Anyways,
No, this is the first episode, so no spoiler alert. But the grandpa goes up
sinks
there
in Titanic.
and checks. He doesn't go in there because he's afraid of waking the daughter up or the granddaughter up to him.
Kidnapper.
And so then, whenever the mom goes up there 20 minutes after that, she kind of does the same thing. She doesn't want to open the door too much, but she says she realizes, like, there's more light coming in than normal.
like, who the fuck goes there, notices there's a light, and you just walk away? If you already walked 100 yards, you go and look.
No, so look, the mom, as she was going to leave, the door, she opened the door a little bit more and then started to walk away, and the door slammed. Boom. As if the wind shut it, which means the window was open. Once the door slammed, she opened it. That's when she noticed her daughter was gone, window wide open, and there's a report of a man as she's walking up into the apartment, a man carrying a baby. Like, I mean, it must have been probably close to midnight, carrying
that
a
just gave
baby,
me the
walking
chills.
away
It
from
was
the
it was
apartment.
10:05. Anyways,
Look,
you
hear
know,
the story.
It's cold as fuck out here.
Oh, yeah.
it's
That's what
fucking-
you're scared of doing with babies, bro? Yeah, no, that's like, I'm with you. Like, the missing people
I
shit
love
is
missing
kind of
people.
interesting, but, like, at the same time,
I'm trying
it's
to
like
find you all.
98% of the stories you hear are like, so fuck, it's like, so what happened? Oh, well, you know, I sent my 8-year-old to the fucking store to pick up cigarettes for grandma, and he never came back.
Wait, but Professor Allen,
So,
the stories where they find like the girl.
I'm not
like,
interested.
No, like after
I'm
like
not
20,
interested.
she's
I
been
want
missing.
I want you to not be found.
But she's like 20 years missing, and
No,
they
no,
found
no.
her. She'd been in like the basement, like those kind of stories.
Oh, like the Cleveland.
Yeah.
The
Do you
Do you
Cleveland
wish
guy.
they would have just stayed not found? Because that's so more exciting
Look,
for you.
Look, if the camera focuses on my eyes right now, they might get watery. I want them to stay
I'm gonna do
disappeared.
something.
No.
That's so
I want
stupid.
I want people to get found, right? But
That's
at
so
it just creates
Don't
such a
sound very
good story.
convincing.
It creates
I
such
know.
it creates such a good story for someone who
Mark at the end of that.
for someone who
the
writes
FBI is
books.
going to be at your house
Well, it
tomorrow.
creates a
No,
puzzle.
but all seriousness, it creates a good storyline, right? It creates a good someone who writes books. I mean, you can't write a book like this,
No,
right?
you know
Yeah,
what?
you can't know. It's called having an imagination.
Because
No,
no, it's
no.
because he still thinks he can find them.
No, that's true.
I believe
If
I
they're missing.
Hey,
That's
hey,
like he still believes he can make
people live for 100
what is it,
Rooster
rooster
Weight's
weight.
done. Rooster
He
Weight's
still
done.
believes he can make
Rooster
rooster
Weight's
Bro,
weight.
there's
Rooster
whole
Weight's done.
careers around
That's his
finding
missing
missing
person.
people.
Yo, I'll be honest.
Rooster Weight Allen
Hey,
is his
I'll
favorite
tell you
Yeah,
what.
so
person.
yeah,
There was this
exactly.
girl-
That's a good
there was
point.
this girl. There was this girl missing in North Carolina. this happened back in 2009.
20. Okay, gotcha.
So there's a lot of missing people I've been following, right? So she's been missing '09. There was a sketch. I started every year, every couple months, I follow up with all these people. Back in 2014, back in 2014, there was a sketch of a guy in Galveston there was a girl who went missing in South Carolina or some shit like that.
You said
and
that.
by the sketch, I was like, oh shit, this is the guy from North Carolina. I just said it fucking around. But there's no one I can be telling this, right?
No, bullshit.
Yo, they
you can hit up Unsolved Mysteries, bro.
They found him, so eventually they caught the guy in Galveston.
Did
Guess
you give
what?
the tip?
He was the dude who killed the girl in '09.
Okay, well, did you give the tip?
No, I don't have to.
Well, then you can't take credit for that
I'm
fine.
not trying to take credit. I already knew.
I didn't know if that was your found.
That's the power.
No,
of,
that's great.
You know,
That's
so
that you knew and didn't say anything.
Yeah, I was like, I knew that motherfucker.
because
I was just waiting to see if
there's
he
no
get caught.
guarantee. There's no guarantee, right? But
He's
what
like, if
I
I tell on him, she'll be found.
what I mean is, at the end of the day, these are real people. Real, they're missing, and, I feel
So
for
how
them.
can we trust that when you find them, you're going to
Yeah, Alan's just like,
save them?
Why don't you come with me? I'll show you.
Man, I'm
Alan-
Oh, shit.
It's gonna be bad if you actually do.
I'll tell you what,
turn
if
out to
I
have
were to
some
commit a
dead
crime and
bodies.
try to kill someone, you're never going to be found. And I won't get caught. But I always say there's a thin line between someone who's a serial killer and I've told you this before, someone who's a thin line between serial killer and who's the fucking guy who's trying to catch the fucking bad guy.
Yeah, it's called Dexter. They made a show about that. Showtime.
No.
I think you said that like the first two episodes, actually.
No.
Yeah, but there is some similarities because
You have the same obsessive, like
Compulsive.
compulsive.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's the
Nature.
Same thing.
Yeah, because I mean, you're basically researching the same thing. The best
course.
way to kill someone, and you realize, and you have to research what's the best way this guy to kill.
Yeah, like the detective has to put themselves in the criminal shoes.
It's like saying you have a boss at fucking work who all he thinks is about himself, leaving early and all this shit, and then you have that boss who's obsessive of trying to maintain his employees all happy and shit.
And then you
Same
have that boss
shit.
that disappeared.
That disappeared.
That's a different story.
That's
and then Alan gets a promotion.
Oh shit!
Yeah, and then
I'm like, I knew this opportunity was gonna come out in 2015. Oh shit!
He's like, I got a fortune cookie the
Oh,
other day. They said
man.
promotions in your future, so I had to make that.
This is actually a confessional. Like,
I'm getting everything out, man. Hey, the glove doesn't fit.
So I start taking.
Oh shit!
Must have quit.
So, Professor Allen, how do you
Yeah.
feel about like unsolved murders?
Well,
That's
yeah.
different than
yeah,
missing
because
people.
a person's not out there
So
anymore. They dead.
emotionally, I'm not attached to it because I want to find the people, right? As
But the
far as-
story isn't compelling enough to
it's
find
not
the
as
killer.
compelling, but I want to.
Because somebody killed somebody, though.
Of course, but as someone who believes in the right, I want that person to get caught.
So if they're missing,
but
they
if
could have just
if I'm
gone
watching a
missing.
story on TV, oh, it's about a fucking murder. Oh, that's the first 48. Fuck that. But if it's about the unknown, so.
Well,
So when you're dating some girl and you know she likes you, oh, I fucking like her. Fuck it, I'll go to the next girl. When you don't know if she fucking likes you, what happens? You keep going after her ass, right?
We're learning a lot about Professor Allen on this podcast.
It's the
is
way
what's-
you
what's
think,
happening.
right? It's the way it's
But,
fucking psychology.
but I would
About girls
say-
and missing people. How are the exes in your life?
it's psychology.
But I would
They're
say
gone.
I would say
What
it
exes?
still presents a similar puzzle, right? It, like the whole unsolved
Everything's
Un-
connected.
unsolved
Everything's
murder,
connected.
no unsolved murders,
string
and
sounds
also unsolved murders and missing people cases. They do present similar puzzles. So like so this is kind of
Done it, right?
yeah, this is kind of a trend that's been around forever, I think.
Yeah, murdering people is pretty popular.
No, but like unsolved murder cases and missing people cases always intrigue a good amount of people. That's why
course.
people have some obsession with
Yeah.
serial killers and stuff. And
course,
that's
it's
why
the quest for
Netflix
knowledge.
is coming out with so many documentaries about all
course.
that stuff, right? However, what I fail to recognize is the difference in the puzzle between an unsolved murder and a missing person. Like, I understand that they're two different situations, but the whole whodunit
Well,
is
it's
still the same.
It's still the same, but also, I mean, it's a mentality going in. So the thing is, if you go in knowing someone's dead and you're trying to find who killed them, it's still kind of the same approach of someone's missing.
After Dorian for you.
So So,
Fuck off.
so what I mean is this: you
I
go
mean,
missing today.
Sam can be on her
Just
own.
working.
You go missing today. Your family would want you to be missing than to find you murdered. Why? Because it brings hope.
I don't know, man. I got a good life.
It's the illusion of hope.
policy.
It's the illusion
My
of hope.
income sucks, but my life
Well, they would
insurance
want you to be
probably fucking
found,
works.
and then eventually they'll be like, "All right, fucking
Nah,
kill him."
What they want is they want to claim that insurance, and then like a couple years later, I Tom Hanks that motherfucker.
You
was
watched-
back with the volleyball.
Did y'all watch
Like,
that
hey, Wilson.
HBO True Detective?
No.
New
I've
season?
only seen the first.
What is
I've
it
only
about?
seen the first season.
Well, the first season was awesome. The second season was the worst, and then the third season was really good. But that was the big thing is like this boy and girl go missing, and they find the boy dead, and the girl's just missing for like 30 years, and the dad is like, "Just tell me she's dead already, please."
Yeah.
She's like, just tell me she's dead because I can't handle this anymore.
No, dude.
Because they find fingerprints of her like older, and they're like,
Oh.
It
he's
gives
like,
hope. It gives hope.
But that could, dude,
But
that
he
could
didn't
be
want that.
crippling
He
to
wanted
somebody.
to end it.
Dude,
Yeah,
that-
that
I'd
could be-
rather have you tell me, "Hey, he's dead."
After like 30 years, he
Well,
wanted.
yeah,
it-
that's what
that
we're
hope to
saying,
end.
dude.
closure.
That's what we're
Well,
saying.
But
It's
that's
closure.
what I'm saying. So it gives hope, right?
So some people don't want that shit, bro.
I wouldn't want that shit either.
Yeah.
So,
So what's your point?
So we're just gonna end it tonight then.
Well,
Let's all die. Drink
It's
the
gonna
punch.
be out there. It's gonna be out there.
There's
All right,
a-
to all of our listeners out there, please retain this video and recording for evidence.
Hey
for
man,
any
like I
future
said before, if I
disappearances.
ever do something, you ain't
Goodbye,
gonna know
Alright.
about it.
I love you.
Yeah.
Hey,
We're at
man.
an hour and a half too.
We're at an hour and a half. What do y'all? I mean, what do y'all want to do? You want to keep going, or kind of just want to get another beer and eat some pizza?
Do we have any more pizza?
You ate it all, so it's
No, there's still a couple more slices. I'll get you some, Zach.
Yeah.
pressed by Jay-Z. I'm not eating. I'm not eating.
baby.
So, but yeah, you know, I truly believe, you know, jiu-jitsu, the way you spar, the way you train, the way has a lot to do with the way you are in your personal life. It truly does, right? And it's
If
like
you're a missing person in your personal life, does your jujitsu training look like that?
maybe after tonight, but so.
I believe that.
Well,
believe
I ain't
that.
talking about myself, but I truly believe because, man, the moment someone starts flaking out on the mat, I start watching them. And me and you have talked about this, Coach Ricky. I'll watch them like, man, what is up with this dude?
You know
Like,
why? Because when they start flaking, they're one step away from going missing from the mat.
hey, man, he's missing. Yeah, he quits jiu-jitsu.
Right.
That's what happens. Or he should. I wouldn't say he should, but eventually it'll.
Nobody's ever quit jujitsu. Alan's just taking them out.
Just
Like
gone missing. Just gone missing.
whoever follows up with those guys.
Hey, he's about to leave. And I'm like, Zach, hold this shit. He's like, where are you going? I'll be right back.
Alan's gonna show up to the school Monday. He's like, Drag, give me a list of all your former students.
Oh, shit.
Sorry.
Hey, no,
Give
he's
me a
like,
list of all your missing students.
give me your cards. Like, what the fuck?
Alan's gonna have some
Spaz
attendance
white belts
cards.
don't last very long in GB, Texas.
So there's a really good podcast out
Oh,
there.
shit. I'm like,
It's-
hey, you want to roll
called
a
the
bit?
Fish Stripe Podcast,
You want to
Ricky.
roll a bit?
I mean,
Yeah.
Professor Berto called it before. He's like, everyone's talking about how much you hate white belts. It's like, yeah, he hates them. He hates them so much they go missing.
Right.
No, I don't.
Only
No,
jiu-jitsu
but-
school out there with only blue belts.
Only blue-
We
But-
don't have a white belt.
there's this really good podcast called The Vanished, right? And it talks about missing people
I listened to
cases.
that one.
Yeah. So there was this one
Ladies and
episode-
gentlemen, I have Ricky. He is in my cult right now.
Yeah.
Like, he is into missing people. Continue,
Yeah.
Coach Ricky.
There's this man, I forget his name, but in the 80s, he lived in a town that had maybe a population of like 1,000 people in Colorado, right? So super small. He owned a auto body repair shop, and someone called as he was closing and said that they were stranded on the side of the road, some road kind of far away, right?
Spooky Road?
I don't know.
That's the name of the road. Yeah, Spooky Road.
Spooky Road.
It was actually
No,
Spooky Drive.
no,
Spooky Road
It was
Lane.
Spooky Drive.
Spooky Court.
Devil's Corner. Devil's Corner. Oh, shit.
Then you always get lost on it. You're like, ah,
Devil's
How the
Nutsack.
fuck I get out of
Devil's
here?
Nutsack. Like, what the fuck?
Satan screwed.
So
Oh,
okay.
shit. The SS, Satan's Scrotum.
Satan
Like,
Scroat
God
Drive.
damn.
Satan Scroat Drive.
So a lot of times after the business closes, he stays there to work on his own projects. The wife understands that, so she's not surprised by him showing up late, right?
Let's be honest,
However, he never shows up, right? So he leaves the body shop to help pick up this person. The last person he ever spoke to was the guy at the corner store, which he had a relationship with, and he told him like, hey.
That's probably why the wife was used to
Yeah.
him not coming home.
No,
So
he told him like, hey,
Pawn
you
shop
know,
in Pulp Fiction.
he said like, hey, you know, I'm gonna help out this person who's stranded. That was the last they ever saw of him, and they found his truck, like a couple years later in a lake.
Did they find it stranded?
No, it was in a lake.
But it was stranded. He wasn't driving.
No, he wasn't driving
Yeah.
through the lake.
Yeah.
All right, so,
Ironic twist.
but that's crazy, right? Like this dude who's just like a family man, has 2 daughters, right? Has a wife at home.
Probably had a secret life, bro. He
It's like the
could have been Jason
BTK.
Ford.
BTK killer.
That's weird, man.
The BTK.
Yeah, the K stands for killer.
Hey, man.
the BTK killer.
Find, torture, and kill. Anyways, how about the what's the guy they caught from the church? That fucking he was the church fucking leader, and they caught him because he was using.
Oh, there's been a bunch.
No, it's like it's not BTK. It's the God damn. I was watching that shit the other day. So this dude, he was a family man, worked at the fucking church. He was a church fucking president, and he worked as an alarm. He would install alarms, get your code, and then come at night and fucking kill you, like kill the kill the family or whatever the
That's
hell.
crazy.
Yeah.
So-
Speaking of which, you heard there was a butthole tickler.
His name is Roberto Rivas.
Hey, shh.
And
There was a guy. I saw this on Instagram, and I really
must
hope
be
it's.
real.
I really hope it's true. I really hope it's true. It said some man got arrested because he was breaking into people's homes
That's crazy.
and tickling their butthole.
Where was this?
It's supposedly here in
No,
Houston.
Like in Houston?
Yeah.
It was
Like,
it was in
what part?
Friendswood.
oh, you're serious? No, you're not joking.
I think so.
Get the fuck.
So hold up, how, like
I don't know. All I
you
saw,
gotta get on a list or like
I
is there
don't-
an email or something?
I don't know if it was requested
It's on
or
back
not.
order and shit.
It's on back
You
order.
gotta add the card on Amazon Prime and
Just
shit.
saying, man.
It just
It's like,
shows
do I get
up.
2 days shipping on that ass?
It's a surprise butt tickle apparently.
Hey, did y'all ever hear about the Axeman of New Orleans?
No.
Is that Gambit?
No.
He's the X-Man from New Orleans.
No, Axe, not X-Men.
Oh.
Now, this was a
Sorry,
serial
Don't buy your
killer.
cards too soon.
This was a serial killer in the 80s who would break in to people's homes
And ask some questions.
and take their axe. He would kill them with their axe until some people survived and were able
Their own axe? Or
their own axe.
Now we're talking about the spray or the fucking.
No.
Oh shit! You're like
Yeah.
He lights it on fire. He's like, ah.
He's fucking like
Get out of here,
it's
Chad.
the
Yeah.
bronze copper spray.
No, but
Oh shit!
but there were some people who survived, and like they were able to eventually identify him.
Look, I'm not trying to be
Hey,
mean, but that's
hey,
an easy killer to get away from.
just,
don't own an axe.
Hey, some follow-ups on this.
Right?
I found an article on the butthole tickler.
Oh,
No,
my
hold
God.
on. But also
He's like 5'7", has a beard.
if you're
He's usually around Webster, and he trains martial arts. Like,
Actually,
oh,
from the
shit.
Dallas area.
no,
actually.
if you were attacking people in their
He's
sleep
been
with
seen
an
in
axe,
Laporte.
Yeah.
if you were attacking people in their sleep with an axe,
Yeah.
shouldn't your batting percentage be like 1,000
Oh
at
my
that point?
God.
Unless you're just that bad.
Yeah, but the pitch, it's not a fastball. You're throwing a changeup. So some
What?
people are quick. Some people are quick to move out of
They're
the way.
in their sleep. They're
Yeah,
sleeping.
Sleepwalkers, man. It's real. It's a
He's
real
not
thing.
attacking
It's a real
sleepwalkers.
thing, dude. It's a real
It's like
thing.
it's an epidemic, man.
It's a real thing.
He's
man.
not
It's a
attacking.
virus. It's
he's
out
not
there.
attacking moving
Look
targets.
into it, man.
We're just putting this out there. Sleepwalkers are like one step away from zombies. So
Oh,
stay the
shit.
fuck away from Alan. He will sacrifice his wife, and he will
Fuck,
fucking make you
man.
missing.
And you know, I wish there was a zombie apocalypse for real though.
Yeah?
Like quick thing, like before we go, like I wish there was a zombie apocalypse.
I'm still
Then
interested on this. health
everybody's
insurance.
real personality and real shit's gonna come out, and you better align yourself with the real people who if they talk the shit, they better walk the shit, right? So, but anyways,
I'll give you that.
I feel like if there was a zombie apocalypse, the best thing
You're-
to
you're
know would
laughing, but
be
you know.
how to fish. How to fish, how to gut a fish, how
see,
to
I
cook.
would keep you, Coach Ricky.
Yeah, but how can you trust that whatever disease hasn't like infected all of the people,
Well, the
They
fish
didn't
is
get,
swimming
like
naturally,
from
like
fish?
Like zombie
It's like
fish?
a toxic thing.
Just fish
Or
was the what
zombievers?
spread the disease.
You gotta head north to you gotta do the fish under the igloos.
You
and
don't.
shit.
The problem is you don't know what starts the disease, right? So
Oh shit!
Well,
Yeah.
so if you cook,
That's a good point.
okay, if you cook a zombie,
You're putting a lot-
could you
you know,
eat
you're thinking hard,
it
man.
and
Sometimes
still
you do.
not be contaminated?
Look, whether you ate a zombie and like were contaminated or not, you're still a fucking
Yeah,
cannibal.
like you watch The Walking Dead,
No.
they get the blood in their eyes all the time.
Yeah.
Like, how can a bite like over my clothes make me turn into a zombie? But
So Oliver, this is my point.
but
is
like I
that
can't get blood in my eye.
So if your
Oliver-
arm got bit
Luke.
and I chop it immediately, roar, clang.
Oh, look, Oliver, this is my
Should be
point
okay.
though, right?
Should be
If
great.
if you can
Because it
cook
takes
a zombie
You got a
and
fucking arm.
eat that,
Yeah.
then
Tourniquet
I
should work.
answer Zach's question by if a fish is infected and I catch it and kill it and cook it, then it would still be safe meat to eat.
Yeah, but you're
At
talking
what
about-
temperature are
Wait,
you
how do you
cooking?
know
but
you
you're
can
talking
eat a
about
zombie?
You're talking about
That's a
bacterial.
dumb
no,
question.
You're talking
It's
about
true,
bacterial
no.
or viral. I don't know if it's a
Fish
viral.
don't have a central nervous system, so there you go.
There you go.
Plus, it depends on if it's bacterial or viral.
Hey, and if you cook that at a high
this is when we
high,
actually eat
high
Brandon
heat,
here, right?
you should be good, right? It's like pork.
It's like
Nah,
cooking the
you want-
trichinosis out of grizzly bears.
Yeah,
It's-
exactly. Yeah, do that.
That-
all the
that's a
disease
good-
is cooked out of the. So would you eat a zombie? Is what I'm asking.
No.
I
No.
mean,
I would eat a zombie fish if I cooked it.
This is so
do I look like the type of dude that would say no to anything like edible?
Eddie Blaze.
Yeah, you eat
You
some
can't
dicks
have
all
like
the time.
zombie fish
Hey, guys, just go for the
sushi.
flavor, all right?
Oh shit, this guy's does zombie fish sushi.
Zombie fish sushi?
You cannot eat zombie fish sushi.
I mean,
No.
you can, but fuck.
you might get
Well,
contaminated.
maybe in
yeah.
like at that Pokeworks. Have you gone there?
I have.
Oh my
It's
God.
really good. It's really
Like,
good.
That's my new thing.
That's
Like,
Yeah, it's really good.
like I got it. My wife brought it last night, and I was like, "Oh, this is delicious." So this during lunch today, I was like, "I'm gonna go check that place
No,
out."
hey,
again.
you know, if you go to Pokeworks and you just ask what things are, it's funny because like they'll be like, "Do you want this or this?" And you're like, "What's the difference?" Right? It's
I
two
can't
things
go
you've never
for
heard
it.
of, and they're just like, "I don't know, one's more crunchy," and you're just like, "Oh."
Thank
Like,
sir,
do you
that's
want these
information.
like red wormy things? And you're like, "Sure, why not?"
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
when you
yeah.
put it that way.
Yeah, they'll say something like as if they expect me to just say yes or no, but when I say what is it, they're kind of like,
Nobody's ever asked me that.
They're
I
like,
mean,
oh, guys, we got a thinker here.
Very
We
good.
ask questions and shit.
yeah.
It's a
Oh,
brain
Call
fart.
Alan,
I,
let him
I
listen.
actually,
makes it feel
I
more
actually
cold.
don't think you could do a bad combination there.
Yeah,
Like-
dude.
No, I
Is
mean-
it good for real?
it's
Yeah,
it's
we're
like
crazy.
it's like
Dude.
Chipotle. Like I
We
mean,
got,
everything's
like-
meant to
It's
work
it's like
together.
a Japanese Chipotle.
Yeah, no, it really is.
So, Coach
It's good.
Ricky, you owe me. So we're gonna go for lunch there.
Didn't.
Ooh, almost.
Somebody wants a
That was
poke.
close.
Ooh.
How do you miss that?
All right, guys. Well, we are coming somewhat to the close, I guess. We can
These
do
are
that.
Oliver's last words.
Well, we have. So our last podcast was 3 hours.
Yeah.
And they've all been 2 before that, and then we did a commentary for 4 hours.
We keep between it. We try to keep the standard podcast between an hour and a half and 2
Hour and a half and 2.
We don't want to
sounds
give people too much
Yeah, I mean,
of.
They're gonna start.
Well,
They're gonna
we
start
have to-
thinking we're weird and shit,
Some
right?
people-
It's
some people
like,
start-
That's
we don't
too
want that.
It's too late.
good.
For
That's
us
too
now.
late for that.
Fuck that. I don't care.
that was
That's
two,
way
that was
too
2
late
beers
for-
ago, Professor.
Man,
That was
you
2
know-
beers ago on the first
man,
podcast.
you know, I'll tell you what. One thing Jiu-Jitsu's told me that
You
I
need
don't
to
give
yell
I
into a
don't-
microphone?
No, I don't give a fuck. So you are who you are, man. And at the end of the day, if people are gonna like you who you are, they're gonna associate themselves with you. So fuck
Doesn't
them
Kesha have
and
a
fuck
song?
you too.
No
Come
matter,
on,
like,
this
no
shit.
matter
are
what
who we
belt you
are.
are.
We
I'm
are.
I'm out.
I don't even know what that was about. Was
No,
that about
I don't know
something?
either because
He was trying to do a mic drop with a mic.
Yeah, you're
stand.
trying to
no,
do
there's no mic drop. There's no mic drop. There's no mic. No, but what I mean is this: people are gonna get to know. People are gonna get to know you, and if you believe it or not, everyone in their own way, they're weird. So there's shit Zach thinks. I can tell by the way his right eye twitches.
You
Like,
can tell by those
hey,
brown eyes
no,
like
but
this.
seriously, we all have our own
Don't talk
weird
about
shit.
my brown eye
That's
like
true.
that.
But it's so good.
But-
I
but-
get lost in it.
My
But
twitchy
people
brown
only
eye.
know what you
Salt.
allow them to know, right? And
I'm
so,
an open book, man.
So
Ricky
That's
is
why me and you are
Ricky,
boys, bro.
Ricky's so deep, he's an open pamphlet. It's great.
So yeah, I mean, like we know
Three
Professor
pages of
Allen
Facebook.
kidnaps people, and
well,
tries to solve his own cases, and he's mentoring Coach Ricky here
it's like,
to
hey,
be the
hey,
next.
no,
Alan's
if
like-
I'm making a coat, he's my lieutenant.
Yeah, and
No,
he doesn't
what
know.
was,
He didn't even know.
Cartman's?
That's the problem. He doesn't know. It's like not until it's way too late that he realizes
well,
he's
that-
in a
What was
cult.
He
Cartman's superhero
realizes
name
once
on
the
South Park?
dagger's in his hand, the blood's coming down his arm. He's like, Oh
It's
shit!
like,
I just killed
Coach
10
Ricky, how could you be so
people.
clueless?
What was Cartman's superhero name on South Park?
The Coon.
The Coon. Professor Allen is the Coon.
Professor Allen is the Coon. Exactly.
What was Kenny's?
Mysterion.
Mysterion. I'll be Mysterion.
Oh shit!
That's true. I will
talking
agree.
about, man?
I'll agree with that. Clearly, Professor Allen has never seen those episodes.
Fuck that. I don't need to.
I'm just gonna sit over here.
Yeah, this will be great. The King.
Man, but at the end of the day, that's what this podcast is about, right? It's about getting people to know a little bit about, the real people. Because you get a lot of these podcasts, and they don't really put it out there like that, right? And
I love
so-
how you generalize everything
Well,
that you're
it's
talking
true,
about.
man. It's
You know,
true.
you know,
So
you
you're
get,
not
you know,
putting yourself out there, so you're faking?
You
I
know,
mean,
you
let's
get,
be honest.
You get
Come on.
these basketball players out here playing basketball, and like these guys ain't really playing basketball.
No, wait. That is a true generalization. Basketball players do play basketball.
That's true. That is true. That's true.
They got handles, yeah. Well, not all of them.
Which ones?
Yeah, the ones that are called basketball.
But
players.
I love that Professor Allen on an earlier podcast said that basketball coaches were all high school players that never played college, and then we were like, name 3. And
I
then-
don't,
Coach
I don't
K-
watch
and
then he- and then he
basketball.
changed
I don't
the
watch
subject.
basketball.
Coach K played West Point.
West Point.
Was he any good?
Yeah, he was.
Do you know who Coach K is?
Back in the day.
You know
Do you know who Coach K is?
Good enough
I
to be
don't give a
called coach.
fuck.
Do you know who his coach was at West Point?
No.
Professor Dracolino.
Bobby Knight.
Bobby Knight.
Oh, damn.
Oh, snap.
Bobby
Yeah.
Knight.
So Bobby Knight was Coach K's.
That's
coach
some
when he
some
was in
lineage
college.
right there.
Yeah,
That's
right?
some for real lineage.
Yeah.
Hey, Bobby Knight
That's
will
when you
be
know your
proud
coach
right
is
now.
legit.
Texas Tech in the Final Four.
Bobby Knight will punch all of us and throw a chair at us that we were sitting on.
Yeah, but if you close the distance, plan.
Is
If we
anybody
close the
here,
distance, yeah, we got
is
it.
anybody
We
here
took care of
into
it.
like Final Four and March Madness and
Yeah,
stuff?
I watch it a little bit.
Man, I'm more into the NCAA
I
wrestling
can't even
tournament than I
pretend
am.
I'm into it.
Yeah.
I used to, or I used
To me, March Madness,
I don't care
March
at
Madness
all.
tells me that
So
the
my college
NCAA
starts
wrestling
May.
tournament is coming up soon, and that's all I use it for. And I watch the wrestling. And I don't know who anybody's names is either. I just enjoy the matches, and I'm like, yeah, you won, dude, champ.
Dude, I gotta
All
tell
right.
you that Netflix.
Good job, guy.
That Netflix doc on the Formula One's kind of got me into it. I don't know if you've
Oh,
watched
yeah.
it.
Formula
but
One
I
racing.
started that the
Yeah,
other day.
if you watch that show, it's riveting. Like,
Wait, is Formula One where your helmet is outside of the car?
Yeah, you're like in a little
Yeah.
jet on wheels.
So there's like a difference between Indy and Formula One. I think Formula One, they can pretty much just build their own, however they want their car to be, they can build it with a few restrictions, but mostly it's about fuel intake. Well, I think IndyCar, they have to choose from like 2 different chassis, and people. if
Ollie,
any-
you have any influence on this?
So-
You're the expert. You're the expert on this.
I'm not the expert. It's just class restrictions,
Yeah.
horsepower ratings, and type of aerodynamics. and weight
But I've actually gotten more into the MotoGP stuff, which I'm going to the Austin one this
Oh,
week.
MotoGP
So
is
this
good.
weekend I was in
MotoGP is
Austin. Yeah, it's my second time I've done there. For
What
the
is MotoGP? I don't know what the fuck y'all talking about.
Motorcycle racing.
Like dirt
Ah.
race, dirt bike.
No, like it's the
Road
premier,
course.
like yeah. It's
The Valentino.
Yeah, it's funny how
You
I
go,
could just do it.
Valentino Rossi and Mark Marquez. Marquez has won like 5 years.
crazy.
He's the only one that's ever won at this racetrack. He's a Spanish guy.
Has anyone died from because
Oh,
I know in
yeah,
the
yeah,
Indy
for
cars
sure.
they die
For
all the
sure.
time.
Dude,
For sure.
you want to see some hardcore motorcycle shit? Check out Isle of Man TT. The Isle of Man races are fucking insane.
Yeah, this is on regular
Like,
roads.
this isn't like
They're going
no,
like
yeah,
200
race
miles an hour.
races.
I can't do
It's-
that.
It's insane. They say it's one of the most dangerous, the
It's
most
fucking
deadly
insane,
races
dude.
there is. But
Yeah, if you check out anything on bikes, check
I
out
would
Isle
like
of
to
Man.
see that in person because you don't see that shit every
you
day,
see
man,
videos
know?
of guys like they're just sitting there waiting, and all of a sudden, boom, and they're like, "Oh my god!"
You
Professor
pay
Allen.
$300 for that fucking
No,
spot.
because
and
not because they're
I
know,
they're
no,
just
no,
like
just
they're
They're right
living.
around town. Like,
No, I
you go
know, I
sit
know.
in someone's front yard. It's
Yeah, I don't think you could really see it in person for that long. It'd be like
maybe from
a
far
second.
away.
So
you know?
speaking
No,
of
like,
really,
you have like
No.
a
speaking of really bougie sports, I went to Austin to the PGA match tour where Tiger played this weekend,
Oh, yeah.
and Tiger's ball like hit like probably 10 feet away from me.
wood ball.
His golf ball.
Oh shit! I'm
His
just
white
His
ball.
his
Hey,
his
man,
his
I don't know.
left scrot.
His
side.
basketball.
Man.
Yeah,
The
so
golf
I,
That's what I was worried
I
about.
saw Tiger Woods,
That's a
and
pretty good claim to fame.
yeah, well,
It's like, but it can't.
besides seeing him,
No, but if you sell it proper, you could be like, at one point in my life, I was about 10 feet away from.
I gave him some chipping tips before he
Should've been like
Before
left.
he
You should pull the professor.
cheated
left,
again?
solid
before he missed.
Left.
He didn't cheat. Didn't
Hey,
he cheated
no,
on his girl.
Hey, Hey Zach, was that the one that he
cares?
like? Was
my girl.
Hey, my girl.
was that the ball? Was that the ball that he hit with his left hand when it was stuck like in the dirt? He, even though he's right-handed, he like hit it with his left hand up.
No.
You know what
Instead
I'm
of the
talking
club, he hit it with his left hand.
No.
Pulling out trick
He
shots.
put.
This was just a regular chip.
He
on
flicked
hole
it off
12.
of the sand.
It was pretty cool. That Austin course is pretty cool. I'm not a big like watching golf fan, but it's just like anything else. If you're actually there, it's way more fun.
Yeah, well,
It's
I
like
don't-
baseball, right?
I
That's
don't
like a
watching
party.
baseball on TV, but,
It's like
there
a
you're
bunch
good.
of rich people getting drunk and having like crazy time. That's
And
what's
their
actually.
fucking wives outside with the caddy shack.
And you can always
The
tell
caddy guys.
the sport by who they're trying to attract by their advertisements. Like there's Rolex ads. Like you go to a Texans
Michelob
game,
Ultra.
you see who the audience that they're like appealing to.
KFC
There's
ads.
there's no Rolex. There's no Rolex
KFC and
ads,
Bud
right?
Light.
So I mean, you
want
can,
to swatch watch?
Tecate.
it was
They
very
got
very
that,
bougie,
right?
but
That's
it was
boxing right
it was a
there,
very
right?
cool
Sounds
experience. I think I want to try out. I would to check out the Houston Open that they have every year. But
It's supposed to be a good one, man. They do a lot. Like they got a lot of nice courses here in Houston.
Yeah.
My dad's big into golf. He's retired, so that's kind of.
it's his
It's a
thing.
retired
He's
thing.
white. He's retired. What else are you gonna do?
What else?
It naturally fits.
I think they just naturally recruit you whenever you're white and
So-
you
Yeah,
retire.
it's kind of like.
Hey,
MI6.
come golf.
Yeah, we're English. It's like MI6. So like, when you hit retirement age in England, you get recruited, right? Like they're like, you want to be a secret agent or play golf, and you're like, well, golf. So that's just how it is. I mean, like no one ever picks secret agent.
Well, you
I
know.
don't think I can do it at this
Golf?
point. No, I can do golf, but at this point to
Secret
learn
agent.
something and slow down, like being in jiu-jitsu real quick before we go. Being in jiu-jitsu, like we're so fast-paced,
Not you.
so forward. Well,
Not you.
No, but I'm recovering and I'm defending.
Did
right?
you
So
say?
that's
Did you say
fast-paced.
Nabi?
So
Did you say Nabi?
It's pronounced Nobi.
He said
well,
Nabi.
I don't know.
It's like
Man,
Cuban
I think you
B.
need Q-tips. He's sponsored by Q-tips. He ain't using them. But
Cute nips.
I have cute nips, by the way.
What I mean is at this point to slow down to a sport like someone who plays like a sport like NASCAR or whatever the fuck you want to see.
Did you say you play
To
NASCAR?
go back and play something slow like golf. That has to be kind of tough, right? I mean,
Yeah, I agree, but I kind of think stuff like that is necessary. Just like not being an athlete or anything, but just being
Learning
a human
something
being.
new.
see,
Yeah.
Professor Berto, we got adults here who can
If-
talk about things.
If
yeah.
if you are a person who gets complacent, that's kind of whenever you start hating life.
Yeah.
I think, right? But if you're always invested in something new,
there's always something.
if
right?
you're putting yourself at the bottom of a new ladder and trying to work your way up, you will always kind of stay young.
we're gonna find missing
Well,
people.
it's like when life gets stagnant, man. You got to keep yourself like engaged, whether it be mentally, physically.
Exactly.
mentally,
That's why
both.
jiu-jitsu is always great because it's always evolving and you always have to keep up with it.
Think about how bad I am physically.
And when you change from
both.
being the person who's putting the pressure, eventually you will become the person being pressured on, right? Because it's a full circle, right? Because you have kids, I have kids. Eventually they will put the pressure, and you're going to be recovering. You're going to have to be playing the defense. So it's an evolving game that always changes. Not like basketball. The moment you start slowing down, what happens? You get released, or you're fucking Jordan. You're playing for the fucking Wizards, right? So that's what happens. So anyway.
Yeah.
He did pretty good on the Wizards.
No, he did good, but he's a
did
different
really good
role.
on the
It's a
White
different
Sox.
role.
On
But
the
he
White
didn't-
Sox, he did great on the White
He
Sox.
It's a
didn't
different
do
role.
as good as he did on the
Minor
Bulls.
league.
It's the different
Do y'all
role.
know
And I
why
think that's his
Jordan
point.
went to the White Sox? Why he played baseball? He got caught gambling.
No, that's a conspiracy theory. So
No, it's not. No, that's not. He got caught. Think of it. He's a compulsive gambler. It's
Yeah.
it's very
Yeah,
known,
yeah,
well
that's
right?
well, yeah.
They did not want to ruin his career like Pete Rose, so instead he got a silent, like a under the table suspension, and they're like, go play baseball for a couple years and we'll bring you back. But he basically got kicked out for it was for
Yeah, it's
gambling.
crazy.
I know from very reliable sources.
I was about to say something. Really
I'm not going to say
You
the
lost
sources.
on the deal a little bit.
No.
I'm
like,
just
he
saying.
I would
fucked
never
me
bet
over.
with. He doesn't like you. If he loses a bet to you, he hates you.
That's
For like,
crazy.
yeah. It's that
That's
mentality.
why I don't play with him on online poker. It's bullshit.
But you're gonna have Jordans of every
I
sport,
decline
right?
Yeah,
every
that's-
time. Every time he asks me to be on Call of Duty, I'm like,
Yeah.
no, bro, because
Yeah,
you fucking
what-
cry all the time.
That's why he played
Chill,
baseball, because
dude.
he got caught gambling.
yeah, even whenever Michael Jordan's like, "Hey Ricky,
See,
do you
now,
want to go
I
get
gotta
lunch?" I'm
investigate
just
that.
like,
Yeah, like no,
I
because
can't.
you're
Look
gonna
it
get
up.
jealous of
Look that shit
what I
up.
order. Yeah, no, I'm not trying to deal with it, dude.
It's like you never take him to Whataburger.
Jordan
Yeah.
was actually the first man on the moon. Look
So,
it up.
so summing it up, Jordan, stop hitting us up, dude. Like, we're tired of hanging out with you.
Yeah, man. I know
Chill.
you keep asking to be on the podcast, but get your social media followings up, and we'll talk, man.
Right. Hey, look.
You're
tell
not
your
posting
agent to
shit.
Fuck off, all right? Stop blowing our email up. Fucking Jordan.
Yeah, maybe we'll have MJ on next time. Maybe he can join the spicy eating contest. Who knows? But I think we've said it all. I think we've said enough, and I think we need to slap it on the table and call it a night.
Well, before we go, as much as I hate to end it on a sad note, there is definitely something we do need to discuss. Unfortunately, this weekend, Grace Baja, Texas lost one of our brothers, and we'd like to give a shout out to Clemente Garcia,
Juggernaut.
Juggernaut. Rest in peace, brother. We will miss you. You're always a bright light at the school. You're always very encouraging to both new and old students, and you're gonna be a sorely missed part of the family. And rest in peace.
And we'll be holding a service for him tomorrow, 6:30.
6:30 at Grace Baja, Texas. Show up in your gi. We will be honoring our brother.
White gi, we prefer.
Juggernaut, yeah, preferably. But you know what? Your presence there is really all we can ask for. So, on that note, sorry to end it on something sour, but you know, put it out for the memory of one of our brothers.
So when you wake up tomorrow, put it out there, right? Put it on the line, because you know our time here is borrowed, right? Anything could happen any day, so put it out there. Stay the extra round, even if you're tired, even if you get tapped, or
Push
even
through.
if you don't want to go to work, just put it out there.
Absolutely. All right, guys. We'll catch you on the next one.
All right, take it easy.